Hello, everybody. Welcome to Do All the Things, the Hotfix show all about Hearthstone speedruns and completionist categories in general. I'm your host, Mr. Shasta, and today we got two cartoony 3D platformers. There's both submitted to my show here. Very excited about both of them. Both these runners are also very passionate about their games in general, and that's going to show especially in both the gameplay and the commentary. I guess no pressure when I say that, but it's good. It's good though. It's awesome. Hope you're all excited. I'm excited personally. So let's get into it. What's up, Crow? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for asking. And I'll go ahead and get this started. So, hello everybody. My name is Crow3893. Going to be running Nicktoons Attack of the Toybots All Master Models. So this game released in 2007 for the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo Wii. It is the third iteration in the Nicktoons Unite series. This one doesn't essentially follow along with the similar stories that the previous two, Nicktoons Unite and Battle for Volcano Island, had, but it's more of like just a side story kind of way, but like it's still a very interesting one in its own way. So, main story of this game involves with the main villain of the Jimmy Neutron series, Professor Calamitous, as he wants to be titled the biggest genius. He is doing this by using Krabby Patties, fairies, and the ghost energy. Yep, quite a couple of Nicktoons references just from that sentence alone. So basically what he's doing is he essentially kidnaps or essentially like steals a bunch of like Nicktoons characters throughout each of their dimensions, makes them into like master models and scans them as evil Toybots, and is doing that essentially as its way to just be able to be titled a big genius, because that's very like something very genius, I guess. I don't know. But basically what we're trying to do is that we're trying to make sure to stop him from like preventing on with his plan from further on continuing before he is finally announced at the end. Alongside with this, there is a second like B plot halfway into the game where we have to collect certain master model collectible items, which is the premise of this category. So all master models requires us to collect 19 master models, which are various Nicktoons characters from different shows or similar shows, and some who are playable characters that you will see throughout this run. Now, something that should also be mentioned as well is basically a lot of stuff is going to be happening towards the very beginning of this, because this game is very glitchy like in the very beginning and like many points. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for what's going to happen, and I'm going to try my best to like catch up with it while also trying to play the game, because these first few minutes are going to be insanely quick and hopefully getting enough time to just explain everything. But let's do this. All right, so time doesn't start here. It starts when the first loading screen appears, but there's going to be an auto-saving segment. So I will give a countdown from 5, and we can start time on go. Let's do this.
If you're ready, let's go. That wasn't go, by the way. It's your go, not my go.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
That's
Alrighty.
the go.
Yes, it is. So, welcome to Bikini Bottom. This is basically during like the point when Professor Calamitous talks about the fact of how he's doing his genius plan. And what's currently happening right here is that SpongeBob and Patrick were delivering a whole bunch of Krabby Patties. What ended up happening as well was that one of the robots inside of this factory ended up kidnapping Patrick along with a whole mound of Krabby Patties, which you're seeing all around the background. And what SpongeBob is basically doing right now, he is currently cosplaying as a robot, or not really. He's disguised as a robot to like sneak in. And what he's trying to do is make sure to save Patrick. But alongside with this, we're trying to do this just as quick as possible to avoid as much of the level as possible. Because the level itself is more of a tutorial-like level that introduces you to get used to like basic mechanics and like types of like level interactions and enemies that you're going to be encountering throughout the game. And something that's been kind of happening right here throughout the entire time is that you've seen this like very long jump that I'm doing. That is called roll cancel. How this works is that whenever you actually roll in this game, you go twice as fast compared to walking. So it is essentially the fastest form of movement. However, there's apparently a weird thing where if you actually roll off of any platform and you don't like register any input, you can actually like just store in your speed. Also, welcome to T-posing right here with SpongeBob doing just a T-pose mid-air and just throwing a character to clip out of balance. I told you guys this game was going to be glitchy at the very start. So I'll go back. I'll explain more about roll canceling because we're going to see more of it later on. But what that was right there was actually called throw clip. So this is something that was actually never mentioned at all in the game and has been hidden for like almost like 17 years before I discovered it like almost a year and a half ago. But you can actually grab enemies that have a stun animation, and the grabbing technique was apparently a very like buggy, like probably like last minute development, because it actually results in some of the characters like SpongeBob, for example, as you saw, he just T-posed right there, and it's just so funny seeing like how easy it is to make a character T-pose in the game. And it's literally all you have to do is just grab an enemy and that's it. And the throwing itself as well is also pretty interesting because the throwing actually gives you a knockback, and by doing that, you're actually able to just like go out of bounds and through the invisible wall, which is what I was able to do, and skipping a fight section that saved like at least 15 seconds. Now catching up because it's been a couple of seconds and we're already in a whole different area. So what happened now is that SpongeBob ended up saving Patrick, but we also met up with other Nicktoons heroes. And oh my gosh, there's so much happening now.
You're gonna bounce. What is this?
Yep. So what's currently happening right here is we're just on a giant platform, like invisible platform, and I'm tricking the game into thinking I'm in the previous section, when causes some of the later elements right here to unload, which normally is supposed to be a pipe right here, but because I tricked the game, that part wasn't actually loaded in, but the trigger to the entrance for this level is still loaded in, and because of this, I was able to enter into Gur's master model without him. This is actually very beneficial because Gur is actually one of the last characters you unlock in this game, and because of this, the developers intended his like entire master model level course be very short. So this actually makes it very beneficial for us, as this is actually something we collect, and it makes it very easy. The main thing though is that it just gives a spoiler warning that like one of the Nicktoons characters that you can actually play. So it's like, yeah, it's just a spoiler warning right there. So sorry, folks. But again, like with the story, so why we're in this factory is that Patrick and SpongeBob ended up meeting up with Tak. Yes, Tak from Tak and the Power of Juju. We met up with him in the factory. Yeah, this was around the time when like his show was starting, so they kind of did this as a way to help advertise it as well. So that's your little like Nicktoons fun fact of the day when it comes to this game and Tak, is that they helped it. They wanted to help like be able to promote it with the game. But yeah, so
Tak when I watched that show as a kid, I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great show. We actually are going to be playing as Tak a couple of times here and there, and he has some pretty cool like interesting movement and gimmicks. So definitely look forward to that one, Shasta.
I'm not looking forward to it. I like Tak.
Heck yeah.
I'm a certified Tak hater.
So basically,
I will say Tak Mojo Mistake on DS, pretty good actually. I'll admit that at least.
Heck yeah. So basically, not only did we meet up with Tak, we also met up with Timmy Turner. And now what we're trying to do is, because Tak actually used the power of Juju to like locate that there are other heroes nearby, but it just didn't specify where because they're just trapped somewhere. So now we just have to look for them. So what we're doing right now is just exploring through the factory pretty much. And right here is an example of like the use of the roll cancel. So I was able to just do roll cancels throughout all of those platforms. And because of that, that just like skips like an entire like combat section that's required for all of those sections. So that saves like 15 seconds alone. And again, this is just with like basic, like not holding the analog stick at all when rolling off and doing a jump. That's how easy roll cancel is and how like much it can save in the speedrun itself, which is pretty cool. Speaking of invisible platforms, you saw one in Gur. Now there's another one here to enter into Jenny's master model, which yes, Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot is also another playable character in this game. We will actually unlock her like later on and soon, so definitely like keep look forward to that. But yeah, this is also another like late intended character that you unlock that was just supposed to have like a simplistic like platforming like master model level type of stuff. So because of that, like it's just making sure to dodge those lasers. The lasers, however, are unfortunately a pain because they have a larger hitbox than their models. So if you try and like precise it makes it a bit tough. But luckily we have a cool little tech called goo stalling, which when you actually use your goo, which is what you see me using right now to defeat these enemies, using it in the air actually stalls you in the air and just keeps you, like, you just break physics entirely and you just stay motionary in the air. And we also get to deal with all these enemies. So there are many different types of like toy-themed enemies in this game. So right here, we're dealing with blocks. These are actually in my opinion, the worst enemies to deal with in the game. They can stun lock you, they can deal massive damage, and they require the most amount of damage to kill. So because of that, they are a pain, and having to lose multiple runs to them, yeah, I have a valid reason. But basically, all we have to do is just like be able to just defeat them as quickly as possible, because we're actually inside master model chambers. That itself, if you've noticed, we've entered into 2 of them. Your eyes are not lying. That is actually an entire Invader Zim reference right there, because you may have seen that like the entire like area itself looks like Zim's lab if you see Invader Zim, but also because you also saw like the Urkin Armada logo on the top. Yeah, the Urkins play a little bit of a role in this game. It's a little bit of a weird fact considering, like, I'll go more into it later, like, because we're like when we're in a level that like kind of ties in with it a bit more. But basically, yeah, like Urkins are kind of involved with this game. And
like,
right
honestly,
here,
I'm a big Invader Zim fan. Honestly, it's just like like if like Invader Zim characters are involved with this game and all, that's freaking awesome to me. You know?
Oh yeah.
Let's go
Let's go. All right, so welcome to Factory Sewer Pipes. This is, well, right off the bat, this is very interesting because you can see SpongeBob, first of all, is sliding on his tongue and is sliding inside of a sewer pipe. I'm not kidding. He is sliding inside of the sewer pipes in the factories, which for some reason have like all of these projectiles, have some of the enemies stuck in here, and just a bunch of these blue items that you see here called circuits, which are the collectible currencies.
Okay, so, I just gotta say, this gag of like SpongeBob on the tongue came from like one episode of SpongeBob for like 15 seconds or something, and just like that's been like a multiple SpongeBob games since then. I think it's also like Not from King Bomb, I want to say.
Yes, you are actually
I think
correct.
It's very funny.
So yeah, this was a reference to the Sand Mountain part where like he was sliding down Sand Mountain with his tongue, and then you also may remember from like when he bumped into the snowman, so he went like into the Sandman, which was definitely the funny piece. But yeah,
life is as extreme as you want to make it. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Shasta.
It's so good.
Such a classic right there. It's so good. But yeah, this actually plays like, despite it actually like having some form of similarity, like how it is with Battle for Bikini Bottom and the SpongeBob SquarePants movie video game, this one actually behaves very like differently. You actually go much faster. The controls are way more sensitive, and this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but if you actually die at any point in this like section, you go all the way back to the beginning and can lose up to like a minute. So it definitely is a bit tough, and like it definitely requires like certain points of like jumping and precise like timing of your movements, but also making sure not to bump in anything. That section is also kind of buggy, but we are actually gonna like encounter that a couple more times as well, because of the all master models category, we get to replay, like we get to like play several characters have like more than one master models that in themselves, and it's pretty cool. Also right here, as you can see, we just unlocked Stimson J Cat, aka Stimpy.
Stimpy.
From Ren and Stimpy. And in my opinion, one of my favorite characters to play as in this game, because he has a funny attack, like main attack, which is kind of like a funny like thing. I don't know if it's a reference to something, but like you'll see it later on.
Might be like how it is in like Nick Oscar's World down the line, for all I know. But I'm not entirely sure.
So right here, we're going to the end of the factory, and just as a little funny thing right here, you're normally supposed to enter that pipe, but you could just jump on an invisible platform and just hit the end level trigger right there. It's just kind of hilarious. That was just an accidental discovery, and it's just been like, okay, you know what? Funny way to break the game right there. Thank you, developers, for putting the end level trigger right there. It's like so freely. Which is pretty funny. So now we're back in another factory. So this is as well Factory Zone 1, but this is Factory Zone 1 Part 2. So there are 3 factories in this game, and all of them are divided into 2 parts, have like different themes as well as like different enemies. So this one is Zone 1 Part 2, and this one has a whole like more of a like dark mechanical theme. And coming up right here is actually a cool little skip. So let me see if I can actually pull this off. Hey, first try, let's go. All right, so that is called any character skip. So what that works is, like I mentioned, how like jumps, like in some way or form, like jumps can be stored in with momentum, like with the rolling speed for roll cancel. So when you go up a master model pipe, like to try and enter in, you actually get a little bit of a wind boost. And what happens is that if you actually time your jump with the entering into the wind, you get a little bit of a like you get raised up in the air way more quicker. And because of that, like there are some master model pipes where there's supposed to be an invisible wall that prevents you from entering in as the wrong character. But if you do the jump method and you're able to go like a little bit like faster up, you're going way fast to the point you go actually above that invisible wall and you're slightly airborne. So you can do a double jump and hit the trigger to enter to the level, which is just right above. And luckily, because of that, it allows us to do Patrick's master model without Patrick, and instead with SpongeBob, his best friend. So that's great. But yeah, the skip itself saves only like 7 seconds, but it's pretty satisfying to pull off. It also only skips like a small section as well as a cutscene, but it's really nice to pull off, and it's just been a great find. Just stuff like that has definitely been like one of the great things when it comes to like finding glitches for this game, which have been discovered for more than like 4.5 years now and are still used to this day, which is still really cool.
Someone's asking if Aang was playable in the chat earlier, but there's Aang right there, I guess.
Oh yeah, so all the master models are of several characters. So like so far the characters we have collected are Tuesday X from the X's, Crumb from All Real Monsters, and Stimpy from Ren Stimpy, as well as now also Aang from The Last Airbender. Don't you dare say the name incorrectly. It is Aang, not Ong. I don't want to hear it.
That's true.
Yep. So we now switched as tack, and Shasta, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'll forgive you for now. For now.
Yeah. For now, oh no, oh dear. Well, okay, we have 3 minutes, so I'm safe for now.
Watch out.
So what's currently happening right here is that we're entering into Tack's master model level, and this one is more different compared to the other platforming ones, and like it has a similar like different design, like it has like a similar thing where like SpongeBob has like a different type of design entirely. So that's the same thing as well over here. So what's basically happening is like his is more of like another platforming type, but it is what happens is that he actually has like longer jumps and moves a bit more faster, so his is more different and interesting. Speaking of interesting, I went past actually a load zone trigger, so now like the rest of this level is just unloaded, and because of this you can just walk freely out of bounds. And out of bounds in this game is very unique in its own way. So how it works is that whenever you fall off of like a certain like value, you're gonna reach like a lower value limit, and as a failsafe of some sort, the developers make it so that way you actually wrap up a certain value height. So because of this, I'm able to just walk, like fly down, like or like go out of bounds infinitely. And by doing this, I can just maneuver myself into like a later section right here. So this is actually for like the master models for like that's like a certain area for like factory zones 3 of Tack's master model level. So because of that, like I said, like there's 3 factory zones. So just keep that in mind, how like we went from factory zone 1 and now we're going to be going to the one for factory zone 3. That is quite a bit of a huge skip right there. And it is actually. So if you're curious how much it saves, normally it saves at most like 20 whole minutes, which I'm not even kidding. That was, it's still a crazy discovery. However, for this category, because it's all master models, this actually is going to be like a little bit of like a downside when it comes to doing the skip in this category specifically, is because we had to like, even though like we're doing the skip and we're skipping quite a lot of the levels themselves in the entire game, essentially, we do have to also collect some more master models, because it's one of those type of games where you need like a certain amount of things in order to progress onto like certain levels. So because of this, what I'm basically doing right now is that I'm trying to just make sure to maneuver, or like just to make sure to like get as many of the master models as possible. But because it's all master models, we're going to be collecting all of them. So you're going to be seeing like all the things. Heck yeah, do all the things. Oh, yeah. Dang. Okay. Let's see if I can actually make this cycle right here. What's actually nice is that whenever you actually like die and respawn, certain level cycles are reset and are consistent, so it's not like, thankfully, like a global situation, at least when it comes to Tack's master model level specifically. Let's see how this goes. All right, so this seems fine. We're gonna have to play this a little bit safe, and then hopefully if I don't get the weird bug. All right, nice. So there's actually a random chance where that the spiky platform that was actually above me, there's a random chance where its hitbox is just completely messed up and could just cause you to like still get hit by it, even though it's like far away. Also, I just did a very tough jump right there, so that was a tight jump that was able to let me. Yep, that was actually able to let me like skip a bottom like trampoline platform. So that just like saves a little bit of time right there, and it's a little bit precise, and like it just requires a little bit of good movement, which thankfully like some of the stuff in this game requires. And I like when it comes to like I'm a fan when it comes to like working more of like getting consistent movement and things on stuff, because it just works out in the end. And that's actually one of the nice things when it comes to running this game as well. The only hard part is just when it comes to like the master model chambers, because all of this is entirely RNG because of the enemies themselves, not because of like, you can see right here, this enemy is just running away. So you know what? Karate chopping it out of here.
Hiya! OMG Jenny, hi.
Yep, it's Jenny. So unlockable characters that you play, they actually have 3 models compared to the other master models, which are 2D images. So because of that, Stimpy and Jenny were 3D models and are actually, and because they're playable. We will actually see Jenny like in a couple or so minutes. Actually, we're going to be seeing Jenny in like a minute or two, so definitely look forward to that one.
Love that, honestly.
As you can see right here, after we exit into the master model chamber, we are now in a different area. So this is Factory Zone 3 Part 2, like way later than we anticipated on like originally we're supposed to be in. And because of this, we just skipped like quite a bit of the game, as mentioned. Like this skips like 20 whole minutes in terms of the speed run, or like in terms of like time save. But for this category, it saves around like 18, no, not 18, like around 15 or so minutes because of the backtracking. But I mean, that's still quite a lot of time right there, because like that is like insane, because like, again, like it helps us skip like many of like the progressions onwards things, as well as like an entire like 6-minute level, which sometimes could also prevent a crash as well, which is very, at least like beneficial in some way. well, not in some way. It avoids the crash entirely, so that's actually a good thing for us.
That's a very good thing, I would say.
Yep. So luckily it does skip all of that, and it still saves a lot of time for this. So it was able to drop down like the category by over 9 minutes originally, and then over time is like dropped down by quite a bit. So it has definitely been a fun one. The skip itself was very good. I want to give a shout out to Schnurd, actually, one of like the main glitch hunters that actually worked on this game, being able to find many forms of like glitches and tricks, and like from throughout 2020 to 2021, and still some here and there. It's just that we found so many that it's been kind of tough to find some even more to this day. But we still get some here and there that, hey, it's still pretty cool to find in like nowadays. So coming up here is going to be the master model for Sam. But we're not playing as Sam, we're still playing as SpongeBob. So because of this, we're just going to be jumping around and then hit the trigger out of bounds right here in the air. So what happens right there is that, as mentioned, how like each of the master models have like the little like the pipe entrances have like a little bit of wind that pushes you upwards. So for some reason, Sam's has a little bit of wind that sticks outside of the pipe. And by doing this, you could be slightly airborne and just do a double jump and land on a little bit of like a small like hitbox of the pipe above. And because of this, you can just jump and hit the trigger and enter into your master model, thus saving a little bit of time of not having to do some excess backtracking. So yeah, that's going to be like the main premise of the category, is like backtracking from this point, but still it will still be very fast and pretty unique in its own way, because like all the characters and all the stuff we're going to be collecting are going to be very cool. Also, you can see on the top left, SpongeBob's health icon is low. That is a little bit of a reference from when he got fired from the Krusty Krab. Yeah, that's a straight reference right there.
That's really good.
Yep. Let's see. All right. Cool. So that was.
I got asked, by the way.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's from Asshole by Ginger. What the heck?
Yeah, that's Ginger. Yep, from Asshole. Yep. So that's what what I mean when it says like different types of characters, like from all the Nicktoons series. You can ever anticipate from like the late '90s, from when they started, to the early 2000s, like to mid 2000s. You're just gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you as well. In a similar vein, a few people in chat were asking or curious if like Rocco was in this game, Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh, I have some good news for you folks. You may want to look forward to it. I'd say hold on to your hats for 30 or so minutes. You may or may not see Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life.
The anticipation. Ooh, it could be Heifer instead. Who knows?
Well, you'll have to wait and find out. Just you have to wait those 30 or so minutes. But trust me, you have my word. You will get an answer. All right, so now we're at the end of Factory Zone 3. So, okay, so Shasta, remember how I mentioned about like Invaders and references and like the Urkan Armada are essentially involved in this game?
Oh yeah.
So what if I told you that they're actually the ones that are controlling the ships that you see right now, the UFOs? Like, I'm not kidding. They're inside the UFOs.
That'd be strange considering that's not what the ships look like, but I'm still with you.
But yeah, they team up with Calamitous for some reason. I don't know why. They're too intelligent to even do that. So because of that,
LT Gray.
Yay!
Okay, Cat Scratch, sure, why not?
Yep. There's so much happening right now. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's so many characters from the shows. You're just gonna have to anticipate all of them.
Chad, so, what's your favorite Nicktoons character in general?
Heck yeah! What's your favorite Nicktoons character in general? I like
Dave and Fam here personally, but it's mostly because I made them in like Nick All-Stars Brawl, and they were really cool in that game.
Okay, well, that's actually, you know what, fair reason. So what happened right here is that, okay, so yeah, we killed some Urkins, and yeah, I don't mean to say that lightly. We actually did just like obliterate them with goo. I guess the goo for Nicktoons is just like strong as heck. So yeah. But basically now what we're doing is collecting the remainder of the master models. So right here, Danny was just going ghost, and we're now into the ghost energy capacitors. So this is like, I'm not sure where specifically in the factory it is. It's just something to do with capacitors. But yeah, Danny is in ghost form. Like, he's going ghost right now. And what we're doing is that we're just trying to make sure to go to the end. And this is going to be pretty cool because, as mentioned, how like SpongeBob and Tak also have different like at master model level like designs. So does Danny as well, and all of them have their own unique ways. All of them have their own unique designs, their own unique like ways to just like progress onwards to like from the beginning to the end, essentially, compared to platformers, which some of the characters, like most of the characters, like the rest of the characters, only have compared to these three. But it's still pretty cool. This one in particular, Ghost Energy Capacitors, is a bit finicky because it can be a bit tough, because what you have to actually do, as you can see, there's a timer on the top right. So what you have to do is break these generators right here, and you have to defend, like, you have to break them before the time limit. And we actually reach 0, you have to start at the very beginning or at like a specific checkpoint. So that is definitely like one of the main things when it comes to like to this part with playing as Danny Phantom. The other thing as well is also having to make sure not to get hit by the Mr. Huggles, as you can see right here. Oh yeah, by the way, that's literally their name. They're called Mr. Huggles. So they're like the main enemies of this game. Pink like straight up fluffy teddy bears who have a bit of a dark like history when it comes to like looking through the game's files. I'll go more into that later, but yeah. Basically, yeah, with Danny Phantom right here, yeah, we're in Ghost, and we get to do this, and then from here we just go from point A to point B after destroying some generators, and that's Ghost energy capacitors. So, not only like do SpongeBob, Danny, and Tack have like unique like master model levels, they all have 3 in total. So you guys saw like you guys saw one of them for SpongeBob's, one for Danny, and then one for like essentially 2 of them for Tack because we played both of them. But we're actually gonna be playing 2 more for both SpongeBob and Danny's as well, so it's gonna be pretty cool. Also, yeah, I just switched to Jenny right here just for the to be able to show it. Yeah,
let's
Jenny
go.
Wakeman is playable right here. And if you're curious on her melee attack, she gives herself like giant fist gloves.
As she's known for, honestly.
Heck yeah.
She does punch and shoot stuff. It's great.
What's also kind of funny is she has like one of the funniest like animations. Like she has a cool like ground pound right here. She straight up does a slam on the floor. And then we also collect El Tigre, which I will say also has a video game as well. If you may not know, he has a video game that. Yep. And I run the game, and it is on it and made by the same people who made this game, Blue Tongue Entertainment, which shout outs to them. And it's pretty cool.
There's a DS version of it too. It's not very good, but like the console is probably better.
The console's good. It's definitely 2.5D. It's hard for sure. It is definitely a hard game. It is 100% like. Well, first off, it's because of like the PS2. Like it fights you in that game, unfortunately. But also because like it's also a platformer, so it has like many type sections as well.
The show is very cool though. I do like El Tigre personally.
Yep. Shout outs to Jorge Gutierrez. So you're seeing right now, like, if you're thinking you're having some deja vu, if you're not, this is, again, Tax Master Model from Zone 1. We're actually replaying it because even though we played it earlier, we only collected the Master Model for Factory Zone 3. So we're going to do this again just to collect the one for Factory Zone 1, which is of an interesting character. You'll see in a little bit, but yep. So basically right here, I'm going to do the exact same thing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here. And I'm going to do this by just jumping up here. So that actually causes me to hit the load zone that normally causes the out of bounds. So that way I can be able to progress onwards with the rest of the level. So by doing this, you're going to see the full level in its full glory itself. So let's see how this goes. So again, it's just making sure like to avoid as many of these spikes as possible, as well as seeing some of the cool background elements like the monkey swinging right there and also some of the palm trees. I'm gonna be honest, when I used to see like maybe like some of you have seen those in life, there exists like those inflatable like palm trees and stuff that you would have like when like in a beach party. Every time I would always see those, I would immediately think of this level mainly because of this palm tree that you see on this side. It just reminds me of it so much. I'm like, dang. Honestly, the game gave me a good childhood, and now I see things and I just can't think of nothing but this game. All right, let's see how this cycle goes. Nice. That's not a bad one when it comes to Zone 1 for Tax Master Model. That was pretty good. All right, and now we're going back into the Master Model Chamber. Again, get used to this level or like this area itself. It's Invader Zims and like inspired. You're gonna just see it for like the next 30 or so minutes. Woo! Oh yeah, so take a guess. Who do you think the Master Model is at this time?
I see it this time.
Yeah.
There was a Barnyard show actually, and like I forgot that existed for a while, but I remember it being pretty alright from what I know.
This may sound a bit weird. I actually didn't even know like Barnyard was a movie. I thought it was only a show. I didn't know about the movie until like 2015.
I knew about the movie at some point, but like I never actually watched it at all. I'll never watch the show a bit.
I actually only watched the show growing up, but yep, you can see Otis.
Good old Otis.
Good old Otis.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Shout out to Wazip, the current record holder and a great speedrunner for the Barnyard game himself. He's pretty goated at that game.
I remember I've shown off on one of these Hotfix shows at one point, and like it was pretty cool. I know
it was so cool.
It's like a 3-hour long run, but it's like very saucy at the same time. Like it's super cool.
Heck yeah, it is. It's also made made by the same people that made this game as well. Reuse some of the same stuff like with well, I don't think so as well, but I know like one thing for sure, it used the exact same like text font that Nicktoons Unite also uses. So like sometimes I look at the game, I'm like, wait, the font looks similar, and it's literally like the same one that Nicktoons Unite uses. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So we're currently playing as Timmy Turner now, and we're gonna be like, we're in his factory master model right here. So what we're gonna do is just skip like the remaining half of it because it's mostly just a bunch of like avoiding some gears. But what I'm doing right here is a trick called box hop. Hey, first try, let's go.
Nice.
All right, so how that works is that whenever you actually jump on top of like your ally's head, it's actually considered like large enough to be like considered as a platform, and thus like gives you a little bit of a height, like a little bit of like height from it, but also resets like your double jumps for it. So because of that, I was able to make it on top of that fairy canister, which fairies are kidnapped in this game, as mentioned, like because that's one of like the 3 things that Professor Calamitous uses for his genius plan. He literally just kidnaps fairies to an all-you-can-eat buffet, which I mean, I don't blame him.
What?
If I heard about that, I would actually go for it. It sounds very delicious. And
Yeah, honestly, if someone invites me to eat buffet like that, it's over for me. I'm kidnapped right there as well. They're using me for evil schemes now. It's fine.
We also collected the master model of Angelica Pickles from Rugrats, which is the last master model for Factory Zone 1. So now we're going to be entering into Factory Zone 2. So this is actually the factory that we skipped with that tack out of bounds that you saw earlier. And
this is a cursed thought, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I just had a cursed thought, by the way. We haven't seen anyone from Rocket Power yet, so I'm like, what if like they have one of those sections there we get like just at the end just the art of just like the squid from Rocket Power from all characters.
Oh my gosh, fan art with like master models of some of the Nicktoons characters. That would actually be pretty interesting to see.
That'd be really funny if it was just like not like Otto or like Reggie or anything. It's just like the squid. I don't know why it made me laugh so much.
Okay, you know what?
Really
That's actually a funny thought right there.
Yeah.
So we're currently playing as Sam. We're gonna be entering into one of her 2 master models right here. So this is actually the shortest one in the entire game. So like enjoy this for like the next couple or so seconds. Oh, actually, okay, wait, I died. So you're going to see it again.
Ooh, 1 more seconds.
Yay, more seconds. And then right here is the cool roll cancel, and there we go at the very end.
That was very cool.
Heck yeah. So Factory Zone 2's theme is more of like mechanical. I guess you could say like a mech shop, like a repair shop type style, because there's like toy cars and everything. Oh, that's not good.
Hello.
Hold on, wait. I need it. Okay,
It's time to replace the battery. Oh, never mind. What the heck?
Yeah, I have no idea what actually happened right there. You know what?
Nintendo Wii, baby.
Thing. That's never happened before. In some way, I guess. In
You
some
said
way.
the thing.
Yeah, not to like the game specifically, but to the system, I guess. I don't know what is up with my Wii remote. I put in fresh batteries like after GDQ, so like I'm not sure what happened.
That just happens with the Wii sometimes, I swear. Like maybe you like actually knocked like a battery loose for I guess what second, who knows?
Yep. Also, we collected the master model of Cat Dog. Yep, Cat Dog was a master model in this game. And here we are actually going to be collecting the master model for Stimpy. So this is going to definitely be like my favorite. This is actually my favorite segment of the run just because I like playing as Stimpy. You'll get to see like his melee attack and why like I like to think of it as a funny thing. But what's actually kind of cool is actually the master model we're going to be collecting in the game. Also, actually, before I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit so you can actually hear this. His jumping sound, but I'm going to try and go for a cool trick. Oh, I didn't get it. Okay, so this one is more, so like Snippy's section is like based on like, I guess essentially like cat climbing in some way. But what's actually kind of cool is like you can actually jump around like the trigger for, like to prevent that like the area to like not like move side to side. It saves around like 4 seconds. It's just very precise because it's a precise jump to avoid. It's kind of similar to like the getting the cutscene skip in the Grim Master model because it's right there as soon as you enter. So it's very tough to avoid. Like it's very like it's supposed to be like very tough to avoid as well. Also, oh yeah, now I can show the melee attack. So yeah, bro just has a giant toothbrush.
Oh.
So, yeah, I don't know what it's supposed to like correlate to. The only thing I can remember was like an episode where he was in space and like he had like a toothbrush with him, but it wasn't a purple one, and also it doesn't have a slobber of toothpaste on it.
You stay minty fresh. All grown up reference. Okay, hold on.
Yep,
We're
correct.
getting teenage Tommy. Okay.
You probably didn't also see, we also collected the master model of Daggett Doofus Beaver with Stimpy's master model level. So
That rules.
what's actually kind of cool. So this is like a little bit of like a headcanon theory I have with it. But what you don't know, and this is also another Invader Zim fun fact, but in
Hell
the
yeah.
pilot, Zim was voiced by Billy West, and Billy West
true,
voiced
actually.
Stimpy. And what you don't know is Daggett Doofus Beaver is voiced by Richard Horvitz, aka the final voice for Zim. So I like to think it as like a little like reference for that reason. But then again, that's just probably me going way too more into the Nicktoons lore, because I doubt like it was just too much of a even if it wasn't a reference, it'd still be kind of a bit of a cool coincidence. Also, an out of bounds right here.
I see.
Let's see if this gets it. Let's see. Nice first try. Let's go.
Nice.
All right. So what this did right here, we were supposed to do the master model for Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy is a playable character in this game, but we actually avoided like unlocking him. You're supposed to unlock him at the end of Factory Zone 1 after collecting Timmy's master model. But what we did, essentially, I just quit out to the main menu, right, to the main hub world. So he's not essentially unlocked. Also, yeah, sometimes the enemies can just fall to their death like randomly, which is beneficial, but it's just kind of funny, but also like, okay, unexpected, but interesting. But yeah, so Jimmy's not playable in this game, and it actually does save a lot of time doing that. So because of that, we're able to just like, we can just make sure to just unlock his master model without him by going out of bounds with some precise like movement, because his level is actually below the level itself, since it's not like Danny or SpongeBob's. And because of that, we're able to go out of bounds and save like 7 seconds from there. But because we also avoid not unlocking Jimmy Neutron, we save almost like 45 seconds of total from that, which is a ridiculous amount of time save, especially for any percent, which helped like drop down like another minute barrier with it, which was pretty cool. Also, we're playing as Danny Phantom again, because we're actually going to be entering into his level right here. And just for a little swag strat, boom, entered in the level from the top pipe, because the entrance level trigger is just really way high up for some reason. Like, it's pretty cool. Also, I'm gonna let you guys watch the cutscene. It's a pretty cool one.
He wasn't kidding. He was going ghost.
Yep. So yeah, now we're back into another Ghost Energy Capacitor. As mentioned, there are 3 of these in the game. This is the second one, and we're going to be experiencing the last one in a couple or so minutes. And you know what? I'll say this, because some of you guys were probably curious about if Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life was ever mentioned or ever in this game. Do I have news for you? Rocco is going to actually be, we're going to be seeing Rocco right after this section, so definitely keep your eyes peeled. So definitely, for those of you who were curious about it, definitely like stick around for another minute or two, because you will be seeing him very soon.
We do love Rocco.
That rhymed. That was completely unplanned. I did not expect that to rhyme. But yeah, the Ghost Energy Capacitors are like, in my opinion, this was definitely the most nostalgic thing for me growing up playing this game, alongside with the fact that like with the pretty sick music that actually plays in the background. It is so good. Like, this level's music, it really like uses over the fact that like if you listen with stereo and with headphones, you're gonna be in for quite a treat. It is so freaking good. All right, let's see how this section goes. So this is actually the second to last part of the area for right here for Zone 2. Again, just the main thing that like it has to be like the main like struggling when it comes to Ghost Energy Capacitors is, again, just not getting hit by the goo, by the Mr. Huddle's boss entirely. That's just the hard part. And because like hitting it, like you get knocked back like very badly, but you also get like stun locked for quite a couple or so seconds, so that does lose quite a little bit of time. All right, and then we have the final section. So you've been seeing I've had to break down like these walls right here, but you can actually just like phase through right here, and just like with some precise movement, you can just hit that generator with no problems, and it's just kind of funny. It is pretty cool though. And then that should be the last one. Nice. All right, cool. And then all we do is just break these. We just break these ones, and then from here we are now able to enter into another master model chamber. And for those of you again mentioning about Rocco, definitely stick around right here in 3, 2, 1, and there he is,
the lad. Oh, he's playable too. Wait, hold on.
Yes, he is, and we're actually going to be playing as him later on to unlock his master model of another unlockable character. Also, I guess. Oh wow, this is actually good luck right here. Oh dang, that was good RNG. Wow, that was actually pretty good.
Damn, real good fight.
a couple of the characters were able to just like fall or like jump off of the death plane, so that's actually very beneficial. But yep,
The lad.
there's Rocco right there.
We love Rocco.
All right. Let's see. All right. Oh yeah.
One of the best Nicktoons. You guys, oh, there's Auto Rocket there too.
Yes, there is. So yeah,
Not one of the best Nicktoons, but I do love Rocket Power.
correct. So yeah, we're gonna be collecting this one. So like you've been seeing like all when like warping. Oh, okay. This I had a little bit of a brain fart. Okay, my bad. All right, let's see. Okay, there we go. Backed it up. Nice. All right, cool. So you've been kind of seeing how like we've been just teleporting or like been transporting like towards all of the master models like very easily, because one of the nice things when it comes to using like the main hub world, the basement, is that it actually gives you checkpoints to collect certain master models rather than having to replay the entire levels themselves. So that's actually one of the nice things, and it's very beneficial when it comes to doing the backtracking. But the problem though is that like there are some of them where like the master models aren't really like as close. So for example, right here, even though we're playing as like we're gonna try and enter into SpongeBob's, it is actually way later because we're in the beginning of Factory Zone 2 Part 2. So we have to do quite a bit of platforming as well as going through some auto scrollers. So this is definitely like the one point where like it's just a little bit of like some downtime just to wait before you can actually enter to the next level, right, to the master model. So there's quite a little bit of time. But in the meantime, Shasta, what have you currently been thinking about, like just seeing all these like Nicktoons references within the past like 38 minutes or so?
I know, I've been loving it, honestly. It's been very nostalgic overall. In general, I love the schmoovin this run has, which like I've viewed like this run before, or not this run, but like the all 8% run before for like I think one of the like marathons this game's made for. It's very very sick to say the least.
Oh yeah, this game's like the movement itself
Underrated
is very good, and just like all the speed tech and everything. It's just definitely like been one of the fun parts like when it comes to finding this game, because like one of the cool things when like running this game since I started was like in 10 months we literally broke any percent by over 30 or so minutes, which was just crazy.
That is wild, honestly.
Yeah, record before was like barely used to have glitches or like RTA viable glitches, and now it has a whole bunch of them. So a lot changed like during the pandemic with this game, because that was when like a lot of us like finding stuff and just finding many cool things. Which shout out to all the Nicktoons runners for this game: Volcano Island, Unite, Globs of Doom. If I guess you could consider that a speed game, even though it's just walking for an hour and a half. Which I can say because I experienced.
That's fair. You have run all of them after all.
Yes, I have. But yep, we're back inside another factory sewer pipe, back into the Sand Mountain reference right here.
Life is as extreme as you want to make it.
Exit. Wait, hold on. Like, if you can just imagine SpongeBob saying that like while mid-air right here. Okay, now that's actually something I want to edit. I just want to edit in like that voice line while like SpongeBob's jumping right here and like just falls off into like the goo on the bottom, and it's just like life's as extreme as you want to make it.
Yes.
Okay, Shasta, you actually gave me a good idea. I'm gonna like make that and post that on Blue Sky at some point. That's gonna be great.
That's what I'm here for.
Also, this is actually kind of funny. I just put through the floor. Yep,
nice.
That's possible. Yeah, it's a pretty funny thing. Oh yeah, alongside like with earlier we mentioned how like Tigray has a video game. So that game actually has 2 bonus levels, which are one of them like they're both actually like have some form of like similarity as the SpongeBob sliding section, but instead of sliding down obviously with your tongue, because first of all you should not do that. That's completely unsanitary and dangerous. But secondly, it reuses mostly the exact same things. I believe like one of them also copies the exact same like model like 1-to-1. So it is kind of cool, but then it also kind of like shows how like Tigray was a bit of a rush game, which it was because it was made in like 10 weeks.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, there we go. Auto Rocket collected right there.
Let's go. You didn't totally
now
beef
we're gonna be collecting. Now we're gonna be collecting or saving Donnie from the wild thorn berries.
All I gotta say about that one is.
Oh my gosh!
Sorry for everyone's ears.
Anybody got a plate that I can throw as a frisbee?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm doing that at age. I'm gonna do that at GDQ 26.
Perfect. I saw the Wild Thornberrys Rugrats movie as a kid. That's all I gotta say.
I actually grew up with I actually played the video game of it as a kid.
I had the scratch and sniff card they had in the movie theaters. I used that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty wild, honestly.
All right, so here comes Jungle Gymnastics. This is actually one of the hardest master models for me, so I'm most likely gonna have to like be focusing throughout most of the time. But at the same time, it's gonna be quite a bit of a ride. So let's see how this goes. I guess in the meantime, Shasta, if there's anything that like there is to like plug in, this is probably gonna be a good time because I gotta focus for like the next minute or so from cycles.
Oh yeah, I got you in that case for sure. I can always talk about hotfix after all some stuff got going on here. For instance, actually just on the Journal and GDQ channel, we have Back to Black 2026 coming up. Tune in from February 5th through 8th for Back to Black, a 4-day Spirit Marathon featuring Black Speedrunners. Big thing race forward. Use exclamation mark schedule and Twitch chat. Check out the events or visit gq.gg/BAF to learn more. And don't you worry, chat, I got you on that one. There's the schedule right there. We also have, of course, games done blindfolded coming up too. Think you can speedrun blindfolded? GDQ Hotfix is hosting a special Games Done Blindfolded showcase on February 21st and 22nd. Inscriptions are currently open for that. Want to take part? Type exclamation mark GDB in chat for more details.
Right, and then here comes the final part right here. This is definitely this is one of my favorite parts when it comes to like just and like the movement specifically, because one of like the cool gimmicks you can actually do in this game is that whenever you're airborne and you actually hold the A button or like your jump button, you can actually like buffer it in some way where as soon as like you're grounded, you immediately start jumping. Like that's one of the like the cool things I like when it comes to like the mechanics with this game is just think it just lets you like, hey, so you want to jump freely as soon as like you land on the ground? Don't worry, we got you. And you just buffer a jump input like that, and you just make it on there with no issues. It's so cool. All right, so let's see. So we got like an angled part right here, which unfortunately hates the fact that you can roll in this game. So because of that, we unfortunately have to jump over. But luckily, like there's a way to just prevent it. And then right here, jumping around this area to prevent getting hit by the cylindrical spike. And then here comes one of my favorite sections when it comes to movement in this game. So let's see how this goes. I'm gonna try and go for deathless. All right, here we go. Looking good. Let's go.
Nice.
All right, that's good. So they all of those cylindrical spikes run at a consistent speed. However, there's like two areas where it actually like has two of them close to each other, and because of that, that's the one thing to mainly look out for when it comes to like trying to make sure that like you're on point with like the jumps and everything. So right there, I was also like being able to use the fact that I can buffer my jump input, so that way like as soon as I'm grounded, I can immediately do another double jump. And it's just making sure to also do jump spaces as well, just to make sure it all works out at the very end, which luckily it did right there. That segment was honestly not that bad. It's actually pretty good. Oh wow, that was actually very close to a goal. That was pretty cool. All right, so that is.
Oh god, Shock Zone. I was gonna say, like, I know Donnie is like the little guy of Wild Thornberry and stuff. Imagine we just saved like Nigel Thornberry instead. That'd be pretty sick.
Can you just imagine like Nigel Thornberry as like a playable character, and like he had like in-game like dialogue right now, as you can see, like this, for example. He'd be like smashing. Yeah, in the Girl Stars Brawl, I made him like Jigglypuff in that game. It's very funny. His down B is like a snap, which like is basically a rest at that point. You know, high knockback, wow.
Huge amount of end lag, etc. It's pretty sick.
Pretty cool. So this is the second to last master model. We will be. Oh, actually, no, we have 3 more to collect. My bad. I'm so used to any percent because this is usually the last master model we collect at any percent. I still have the muscle memory kicked into my brain. But this is the last master model for Timmy's that we're actually going to be collecting. And I want to show off a weird, interesting thing that you can do when it comes to doing your melee attack with Timmy specifically. But it's fairy approved, I guess. But you can use Cosmo as a whole hammer.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And you can see his face. He is actually smiling. And if you can probably look at it closely, he's actually blinking as well, which is pretty cool, like animation as well. That's actually kind of like a really nice detail.
Cosmo loves this. It's okay. This is enrichment for him.
So right here, we actually met up with some other enemies that we actually met at the beginning of Factory Zone 2 called the Wheelies. There are 2 different types. There are firefighters and the bulldozers. Both of them, like while having different models, also behave differently, as the bulldozers charge towards you, while the firefighters shoot projectiles at you. And it's the main ones are the bulldozers because when they actually charge towards you, they have invincibility frames, so you can't really attack them. And if they hit you, you get stun locked and you get launched up in the air and potentially die, which is the unfortunate part. Also, now we're in Factory Zone 3, so this is more of like a cutesy area, essentially. Like, it's supposed to be like, hey, look, everything is all nice. And then we just jump down right here. You just see a whole entire teddy bear right here covered in nothing but lava. So, yeah, great turn for the Nicktoons.
Normal factory things, you know, it'd be.
Yep. And then right here, we're going to be entering to the third to last master model, which is one more of Danny's. And we know what? We're going to be watching the cutscene one more time. So let's enjoy this last time of Danny Phantom going ghost.
I'm going ghost.
And off he goes.
Spooky.
Spooky indeed. All right. So normally, like you think like as you progress onwards, things will be like harder or sometimes easier. For these master models, it's kind of like iffy here and there. Some of them are like they made them a bit more easier towards like the very end, especially like when it comes to some of the characters that you also have to unlock and like play later on. So that's kind of the example right here is like Danny's master model like isn't as hard as like the first two, but at the same time it still kind of does have a little bit of tough points here and there, but it's also just dependent on the like the enemies themselves because of their projectiles mainly. That's just the only issue. Luckily all of the Huggles like all of the Huggles bots they are exactly like stormtroopers and have horrible aim, so that's thankfully a beneficial thing right here.
We take those.
Yeah, heck yeah, we do. And then right here is to see how this section goes. Definitely the one thing that just kind of like makes it a bit tough is like whenever you shoot, like you see right here, I'm shooting an energy blast. It does sometimes auto-target. It tries to auto-target towards like any of the like walls, but also like the enemies themselves. And it just makes it a little bit like tough here and there. Also, you can see like there's just like giant like water. I don't know what it is supposed to be. It's like a water balloon. I like to think of it as a water balloon, but it just like it auto-targets towards you. I'm sorry.
It's like a chicken leg. It looks like.
Oh no! Okay, now you just changed my vision of that for the rest of my life.
You're welcome.
I've known this game for like over like 18 years now. And now just realizing this, I'm just like, oh dear.
The chicken leg misses at you. What can I say? I calls them like I sees them.
Oh my gosh. That's yeah. Anyways, so we're now back into the master model chamber. We're gonna be collecting the master model of Arnold.
Yeah, it's Arnold.
Yep.
And after this, Arnold to show up.
We actually are going to be continuing on. Well, yeah, I will say it is actually a very good show. I've been binging on Paramount.
Hey Arnold's like amazing. So it's like 10 out of 10. We love Hey Arnold.
It's such a good show. And then let's see. All right, good, nice section.
One of the most down to earth like Nick shows in general. It's fantastic. I adore Arnold, honestly.
Oh, definitely. Yes, you know what? Let's just admire that. I'm pretty sure all of the like PNGs and like the sprites of the like master models we collect are like concept arts or like original arts from the
they're like the original like character art for like the official character art for like every single character. I recognize a few of them.
It's kind of cool. It's also it definitely is like it feels like a nice thing of like, oh cool, it's a reference. Also game just decided to like not load in the level. That's common when it comes to like, whenever you replay this section, that just happens, unfortunately. There is a random chance though where like it doesn't. We're still trying to figure like a way to prevent it to make it consistent because it would save at least like 3 seconds. So right here is like a little disco area. You can see like there's like a DJ Huggles right there just jamming it out. But like right here, I just did a roll cancel and just avoided that because there's actually like multi-phase, and it's actually kind of tough because you saw right there were like these ballerina enemies. So they're actually a huge pain because the main goal of that part is to try and cause them to like fall through and defeat them as quickly as possible. But it is very tough and it's very hard. But luckily, because of roll canceling, we can just drop one of the platforms that normally falls down, and we could just like skip the entire section entirely, which just saves like, again like another like 15 to 20 seconds right there just from a roll cancel. So it is very, very nice. And coming up here is the final level, or like the final SpongeBob master model level. So you know what? I'm not going to skip the cutscene, so you can just see this glorious, glorious animation.
Let's go sliding.
Oh god.
featuring a guitar riff at the very end.
That's so cursed.
Yep. So yeah,
He can just do that. He can do it whenever he wants in the show, but he never does.
Yep,
We all know
he
this.
Yeah. Again, maybe he's doing this as a good thing because, to be fair, you gotta like when you pay attention to all these sewers, like when you and like you've seen all the sewers here, like he's done, they're all pretty dirty, considering that he's a sponge. I guess he's essentially like sanitizing it in some way with his tongue.
I'd say so.
In some way, yeah. And at the same time, it's like, But yeah, mainly like the one thing when it comes to like the SpongeBob levels themselves are just like trying to go like in a straight like direction all the time, because if you try and slide like side to side, it does lose a little bit more time. And I'm gonna try and go for a cool little swag jump like in a bit. Or actually, I think I already passed it, but I'm gonna go for a little cool corner cut right here. All right, nice. All right, let's see.
Triples that.
And then just, yeah, I'm just gonna be clipping to the floor for the rest of this.
Just constantly.
Yep. There is actually what's actually kind of funny is you can actually like soft lock yourself right there. So normally at the end, like you're up like one more ramp and then you do a jump. If you go up that ramp and you actually don't jump, the game just pushes you to like the wall and you can't move and you can't jump out of it. Like you're just soft locked basically. So that's one of the few times where like you actually have to jump. Otherwise, like it's either run over or you have to like backtrack and re-enter into the same level all over again, having to like having to replay it and everything. So that's definitely like one of the weirdest. It's a weird quirk for sure. It's definitely just a very strange thing. But that is the second to last master model right here.
I had to look up the name of this Alvaro monster here because I knew Ablina, I knew Ickis. I forgot like who Crumb was entirely. I forgot his name though. I remember this guy holds the eyes, but like yeah.
Also, this is some great news for those of you watching, but Rocco is now going to be playable in the category right now.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Rocco.
So, again, we're going to be seeing the UFOs, and we're dealing with the Urka Armada again, because they are just working with Professor Calamitous and are chasing us with a giant laser. So right here, we're just going to be collecting the last master model, which of who else but Gur from Invader Zim.
Yes.
Yep.
I love Gur.
Let's see how this goes. So yeah, Factory Zone 3 is definitely like one of my favorites, especially part 2, just because of the space theme, but also just the entire like scenery itself. It looks so nice. All right, let's. So yeah, and if you were tired of the UFOs, I have bad news for you. We're gonna be encountering one more, but it is the last one, so you won't have to see it anymore. So let's just see how this segment goes. This one can be a little bit iffy because of the lasers having displaced hitboxes, but also doing some roll cancels here and there. All right, we got one more. Nice, there we go. And just as a little meme, you could just hit the end level trigger right there doing a roll cancel. Stuff like that is definitely just like the funniest parts when it comes to it. It is so good.
All right, I got to ask before I get the run right here. Very important question.
Go ahead.
You run all Nicktoons and Night games in general. I know that, but who's like your favorite Nicktoon? What's your favorite like Nicktoon in general?
Are we talking about character or TV show?
Let's talk about TV show in this case. We can talk about character after.
So I guess for TV show, it would be a tie between either El Tigre or Invader Zim.
Ooh.
Mainly because, like, I will admit, Invader Zim, watching that,
it's so freaking funny.
It just has the humor. It's so good.
It's so good, actually.
It's so
I love
good.
Invader Zim.
And then El Tigre, it's definitely just more of like, because I think it was also like the first like Nicktoons show that did like a specific type of 2D animation, and it still looks very good even to this day. It looks very good. But also just like seeing like all the cool references and like all of like the stuff that they like Jorge was able to implement when it comes to like Mexico and everything. It is just such a great. It's like a nice show to watch, and like when it comes to like heritage specifically.
It's a huge love layer for sure.
In terms of character, I would have to say Gur. He's just goofy.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing else to say. He is like, I mean, to be fair, what does the G stand for? If only we knew. Everyone's been finding out since day one. So you're probably curious what the heck is going on right now and why there's like a black screen right here. So we're in Fairy World in some way. So now that we collected all the master models, we are now going to be able to stop Professor Calamitous. Normally, you don't need to collect all of them, but again, this is all master models, so we did all the things. Yippee!
Let's go. That's the name of the show.
Woo! Again. Woohoo! But yeah, so Fairy World, you normally have to like, it's another platforming section, but you have to like go from the beginning to the end. It's very tough. But because of roll canceling, you could just go way above like the furthest like point of the death plane, and you could just go out of bounds. And what we're doing right here is just going from the beginning straight to the very end by just holding right, because it saves a lot more time compared to like going up, going down, because this level has a lot of that for the movement. As you can see, like the background element right there, that's a section where you actually go downwards and like you try and just like avoid a bunch of like enemies and stuff. Even though like all of the levels, like many of the level is like unloaded and like you may not expect it to like even like continue onwards. Again, with how out of bounds works and you're able to just like fall infinitely and you're still able to move around like any areas that don't have death planes, you're able to just avoid like everything that's like just being, you could just see all the nice scenery right here and just the background changing from pink and then into like the black image. Also, pay attention to the background music. I'm going to try and time pay attention to the SpongeBob's health icon, but also the background music. I'm going to time this little section. There we go. What's actually kind of interesting when it comes to the soundtrack in this game is that like it does kind of have like some like similarities when it comes to like certain things from Nicktoons themselves. Like Factory Zone 2's OST kind of sounds similar to like one of the background music that plays in the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, and it is interesting. It is pretty cool. On top of that, the Fairy World's theme itself sounds similar to like the Mr. Crocker theme that plays in like one of the episode title cards, which I will say, shout outs and rest in peace to Guy Moon. Definitely a great composer for like the Very Odd Parents, but also for Tough Puppy as well. Very, very cool, like nostalgia music right there. Very good person. But yeah, now we're going to the very end of the level. All I'm doing right here is just like aligning myself to the right side and just holding up. And if I did this correctly, we should, there we go, hit the end level trigger, and we just like avoided all of Fairy World.
Huge.
So that just skipped like the entire level. Doing the out of bounds saves over like 2 whole minutes or like a minute and a half. Compared to the old method, which was an out of bounds as well, but it was much more, it was way harder, and it only like skipped like the second half, like 3/4 of it. So it wasn't going to save as much. So this saved a lot more time and dropped down like the any percent category and like all the runs like down by quite a bit, except for no major glitches because it's a glitch. So now it's like, yeah, we were able to save Jorgen von Strankel from, it's like he was able to take care of the Professor Calamitous buffet. So yeah, no more free buffet, unfortunately. So that's a bummer. But damn. Now we have to go. Yep. So
I want my free ice cream bar. What the heck?
I want my free sponsicle.
No, I wanted a salad. So no, whatever. I'm kidding.
There's probably one person out there. We'll put a pin on that.
It's healthy. You gotta have a healthy option. You can't just have like fried chicken at the buffet or anything, or just mashed potatoes.
Get a cucumber and a piece of spinach. Problem solved right there.
Perfect. And then get like 3 ice cream cones because you just do that.
Are we counting or not counting wafers on the side?
Ooh.
And chocolate syrup.
Will not count it. Add more.
Sprinkles.
Oh yeah.
You just, now that I'm thinking of that, I just think of that like one like image, like that one real life image of when Patrick did the Olympics and like was in like that strawberry ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, now I'm just thinking of that. That should be a real thing one day, honestly. That does sound pretty tasty.
Would you eat the Patrick ice cream cone from that one episode of SpongeBob?
Interesting choice of words there, Shasta. Yeah, so, you know what? Okay, anyway, so we're here in Professor Calamitous' lair. Yes, this is apparently his lair. I don't know who it was that designed it, if it was him or if it was somebody else, but they need to be fired because this is very interesting for a lair. It is just all nothing but like a whole walking direction just to like get to like his computer or something like that. I don't even know.
Honestly, I'm surprised he like completed this whole area in the first place. He always, I remember the show, he like always forgets something, you know?
Yep.
That's like he's always known for.
He did actually forget one specific thing, and that was actually one of his employees who we actually helped. So I mentioned how like we actually collect the master models. So one of the characters that we actually help out for the Master Model specifically is Chadbot. We will see Chadbot at the end of this as well, but basically he's the one who told us to collect the Master Models, aka the action figures of the heroes that Professor Bad Mustache had deliberately borrowed, in quotations, his own words,
Wait,
not mine.
Wait,
But
who's that?
Huh?
Who's Professor Bad Mustache?
Professor Calamitous.
Oh,
Yep, that's what he called
I missed that
Professor
reference.
Calamitous. It's Professor
That's
Bad
awesome.
Mustache. But yeah, there will be more of a reference to that later on as well. You'll see. But yeah, basically, he was the one that like got us into collecting the Master Models, because originally it was to be able to collect them for both his action figure collection, but also to help contact for Danny Phantom and Samantha Manson, which was something that we actually did earlier, which is how we were supposed to normally unlock Sam and Danny, which was by entering into Amity Park, which was one of the similarity levels, like you can see right here. This one is not a platformer. This is more like a I guess you could say like a 3D person type of well, not a third person, but more like actually yeah, third person type of view in terms of like just going like throughout the level and just shooting a whole bunch of goo. And this is way different compared to the platforming. Amity Park itself is another level that we didn't play at all, but normally has this. But again, we skipped it with the tech out of bounds. So because of that, we didn't have to deal with it, but we actually had to enter into the character selection screen, because that would have actually caused the game to crash if we tried to enter into this level with it without doing that method. So because of that, it was still very beneficial at the end, because we still got to unlock Danny and Sam, which were like we needed them for the category. So it luckily did not lose any time at all. It is just definitely like a very interesting thing. Maybe something to do with like the game's code, but yeah, it is pretty interesting. I'm also playing as SpongeBob, not because of the fact that like yeah, he's the main face of Nick, but it's actually because of the fact that like he has an overpowered ability. So him, Tack, Danny, and Timmy have upgraded mech suits where they have like a unique thing when you actually use their missiles, which I've been using like recently because it deals the most amount of damage compared to goo. But SpongeBob's missile is so overpowered, whereas you can see he just shot a whole bunch of them, and it didn't even use as much of like his ammo compared to as it normally would use. And mind you, this is also the cheapest like upgrade as well. So it's essentially like the game's way of just saying like, hey, if you want to like beat this like level much easier, just play this character, get his unlockable upgrade, and then just like hold down the button and problem solve. The game will beat it for you.
Yo, but how's Rocco's mech suit though?
Oh, I
How's
got
his
bad
mech
news.
suit?
Rocco,
Oh, no.
unfortunately, many of the characters don't actually have the mech suits. It's only like 8 characters, unfortunately. I think it's.
I hope Jenny has one. That makes sense if she has one.
About that.
What? But she's a robot. What?
Yeah, unfortunately, she doesn't as well. The only people that have them
Messed
are
up.
SpongeBob, Danny, Tack, Timmy, Jimmy, Patrick, and Sam. Those, I believe, are the only 7
How does
of them
Tack
that
have a
have
mech
it.
suits?
I don't
He
even
lives in
know
the
as well.
jungle.
Well, actually, Jimmy actually made them when they would actually get transported over to Amity Park. Jimmy would spend over into to one of the evil toy collabs at Amity Park and make them for him, and also the heroes to help him out. But I guess he didn't make them for all of them, because again, like
Messed
they
up.
kind of didn't really intend on to making like the mech suit levels for the unlockable characters. They only just did it for like the ones that you normally would unlock at that point, basically. Which is kind of unfortunate. I would have actually loved to see like a Jenny Wakeman like concept of one, but also like something for Gur as well, especially when you remember like evil Gur as well. It would be pretty interesting. All right, so we're at the very end now, and now let's just hope that that I don't also get soft locked, because there's a random chance of getting soft locked right here. So fingers crossed. All right, 1 down, 1 to go. Let's see what happens. All right. Okay, we are seconds away from calling time.
Ooh.
And time.
To be in there.
GG.
Woo, that was not bad. 105. That is very, very good for this category. I played only 2 minutes behind my PB, which is a 102.57. So that's honestly worth it.
We tanked them. That was awesome.
Wait a second. This guy just copied. Wait, he just copied what I said.
They just called time. What the heck? What?
Hold on.
They can't do that.
So it comes to this.
Yep.
Can't believe
so
it.
this is actually the game show host for the Biggest Genius.
The unmitigated pleasure to
So,
announce the winner
and
of
if he
the
sounds
biggest
familiar, yeah, it's the same
genius.
voice actor as Captain Cork.
Shoulder
Oh,
pads. Just get on with it and tell me I'm
That's
the
awesome.
winner.
Patience, Professor Calamitous. Patience. The genius is about to be announced right now, and it is
Is it Jimble's Neutron?
it is the Chadbot.
My employee.
But yep, Chadbot ended up becoming the biggest genius.
Contestant.
Your irrational desire to abduct the very best characters from every dimension.
I agree. How you petition to have like the guy in the game saying "and time" like be the actual endpoint of the run? This needs to happen, honestly.
Well, we had to skip cutscenes.
Come on.
I know it's a bummer.
Have some whimsy speedrun can be.
Actually, maybe when it comes to some runs, it could be. It would be interesting. But
It would be funny.
yeah, it would be funny, yeah. What we will be saying is Chadbot ended up becoming the biggest genius because he got the best, greatest action figure collection in the entire world. Also,
But is exactly what you got kicked.
but is exactly what you got
Your
kicked.
prize is.
And then here comes his valuable prize.
You get this
Fetching in fully synthetic, washable, drip dry, glow in the dark sash that will make you the envy of all your friends and combust near an open flame. Which,
Oh, no.
yeah, the most you can expect from a sash as well. And this comes the greatest like revenge theme, which is an electric shaver and the mustache. Also, here comes the greatest dialogue like subtitle in all gaming history. Cry of dismay! Exclamation point and the two like arrows.
Amazing.
Yep. So
That's totally me, and I'd make a cry of dismay.
me on the weekends. No, me on the weekdays actually when it's Monday morning.
Oh no.
No, it's all good. I'm all good. Let's see. So yeah, that is the end of Attack of the Toybots, all master models. So again, not any percent, but this is still actually my favorite category out of like all the categories for this game because one, you get to play as all the characters, which was like one of my favorite things growing up with this game was just being able to play as all the variety of Nicktoons characters, and also just being able to. And because it's also like a better supplement of Hundo because Hundo is like a whole hour and a half of grinding like enemies and everything. So that can be a
Oh
bit like,
jeez.
yeah, it's tough. So this category like makes it up for both like it's placed similarly to like the shorter categories like any percent and no wrong board, but also like has its own like unique way of like essentially completing the game in some way, shape, or form, which is pretty good.
We love middle ground categories like this. They're always the best.
Yeah, I definitely love it with this one, especially because it's at a good length at just under like at just below an hour and 5 minutes, which is like great in my book.
That's an amazing length for this, honestly.
Yep. And I will go ahead and give out some shout outs as well as like plug in some stuff. So first off, I want to give a huge shout out to Nicktoons speedrunning community. This is for the games if you want to speedrun them like Nicktoons Unite, Battle for Volcano Island, Attack of the Toybots, this game. Yep. Glob of Doom, the Nickelodeon Kart Racer series, as well as a few other games as well. Even Party Blast and Dice of Destiny.
Nicktoons MLB?
Yep.
Yo.
So yep, not only that, it's also just as well with like some of the runners. So I want to give out some shout outs to some runners. So first off, I want to give some shout outs to like some of the runners in the Nicktoons community. I want to give a shout out to Hydro, Unix. I also want to give a huge shout out to some Nicktoons runners as well. So first, I want to give some shout outs to Storage, and Storage and Stickboy, the main like inspirations who like got me interested in running this game back in 2020, 5 years ago when it came to running this game, and just had a blast since. Another one for Schnurd, again, the Glitch Hunter and being able to find many of like the cool movement tech. He was the guy that actually found roll cancels, so that was pretty cool, as well as a couple of like the out of bounds stuff as well. And it's just very, very cool and a very talented individual. And also just a shout out to all the other Nicktoons runners as well. And if you actually do want to become a Nicktoons runner as well, especially for this game, we do have a any percent tutorial. It is half the length as this category. You don't collect all the master models, you only collect a couple of them, but everything that you actually install in this run, some of the stuff is actually carried over in the any percent route as well. And so you can do cool things like the roll cancel, out of bounds, any character skip, all that cool stuff, and being able to just do that one out of bounds, like tack out of bounds to skip like the whole 20 minutes. So stuff like that is still carried over into 8%. So if that kind of piques your interest, again, this is released for the Wii and PS2. Definitely one of the most common systems you can pick up, and you can definitely give this game a try. No motion controls, just only the sensor bar is required, mainly for this level. But yeah, in terms of that, if you enjoyed this, again, my name is Crow3893. You can find me on my socials, twitch.tv/Crow3893, youtube.com/@Crow3893, for Blue Sky, Crow3893.bsky.social. And you can also, and also Discord as well at Crow3893. And just same name and across all socials. And I guess on top of that, I just also want to give a huge thank you to Shasta for letting me be able to run this on the show. This, again, one of my favorite categories, and just a fun time to be able to showcase this game and just all of the cool stuff, not only just from the game itself, but also just the speedrunning community, being able to showcase what we've been able to find throughout the years, and just being able to showcase that hey, licensed games are definitely pretty underrated and pretty interesting.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. This is a lot of fun to watch. Thank you for running this.
Of course.
Like I said, though, we got the Conker's Bad Fur Day after the break right here, so stick around for that. I know Brandito is very excited to run this game for y'all, and I hope y'all excited to see it too. So we'll see y'all. Welcome back to Do All the Things, everybody. The Hotfix show all about 100% speedruns and completionist categories in general. I'm your host, Mr. Shasta, once again, and I am very excited to bring y'all the Conker's Bad Fur Day Brandito here. I know he's very, very excited for this run. I think we should just get into it immediately, because I know he's ecstatic. He's really excited to do this. So let's do it, y'all. Hi Brandito, how's it going tonight? How are you feeling here?
I'm just buzzing with excitement to bring you guys Conker's Bad Fur Day for the Nintendo 64, played here on the Xbox Series X. This is not my first speed game per se, but this was the third game that I ever learned, and it was the first game that I ever felt like I could improve. This is the game that basically taught me how to improve speedruns. And what I mean by that is the first time I could look at gameplay and go, oh, I know how to make this faster, and little bits at a time. It made a lot of sense.
Somebody told you the wrong cheat.
Oh, that wasn't a real cheat code in the game? That's unfortunate.
Oh, no.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and set ourselves up to start here. There's a lot to talk about. I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I want us to all go on this journey together. So I'm going to go ahead and count us down to start here in 3, 2, 1, Conker time. Okay, so Conker is a bit of an interesting guy. He appeared in 1997's Diddy Kong Racing as just a funny little squirrel man who was part of the whole gang trying to fight Whizpig. And Conker is part of Rareware's, I don't know what to call it. Let's call it the furryverse, because it's all of the anthropomorphic animals that Rareware had all together. So Rareware into the furryverse. Conker is one of those guys. Conker was the star of a 1999 Game Boy Color game, which you can see right next to me. I do own the game complete in box here. Conker's Pocket Tales, which is a child-friendly game. Conker's birthday is happening, his presents have been stolen, and he needs to get them all back and rescue his girlfriend from an evil acorn. And then Conker was getting a new N64 game at the time called 12 Tales, which eventually turned into this when Rareware decided they were absolutely done making children's games for a little bit. I think they were burned out after Banjo-Tooie. They were like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. And so they took the Conker game that they had and just absolutely changed it into this. So Conker's Bad Fur Day was released in 2001, one of the last games on the N64, and not a super big commercial success because of the M-rated game. Nintendo didn't necessarily want to promote it, so it had to stick to some late night commercials, and the GameCube had just come out. So it was very difficult for this game to spread by word of mouth. That's why the N64 game is one of the more expensive ones you can find. But today we're doing chapters. So everybody who knows this game knows that this game has a million funny cutscenes that are all voice act and actually have, oops, that's okay. Not a big deal. That's a 30-second time loss. That's a classic intro mistake. This game has a story mode, lots of cutscenes. They're very humorous and they're intended to be very farcical about the whole nature of a video game. This game is very meta. A lot of Rare games in this period are meta, Banjo-Tooie has a lot of meta moments. And stuff like that. And this game is the final boss of Rareware meta, because the whole game is basically just laughing at the idea of being a video game, and the silly things that they can make that they just kind of make you do. So this is more of a story game than Banjo-Tooie or Donkey Kong 64. Like, we're not really collecting a ton of items. We are collecting certain items in order to progress in the game, which are stacks of money, which we'll see later.
Get that moolah.
But yes, we need that moolah, that spondoolie. He calls it a lot of things in the cutscenes. But first, okay, so we're entering a room here where we need to grab a key. And this is one of those things, and this game is full of this. This is so much more complicated than it looks. I'm thinking about a lot here. So this key is going to jump and be scared of Conker like 3 times in a row. After the 3rd time, I want to be facing backwards, and that didn't work the way I wanted it, because the first time the key is on screen after that little thought bubble pops up, he has invulnerability frames. Oh, wow, I hit him without seeing him. That's pretty cool.
Hey, hold still.
So the key has iframes the first time it's on screen. So whenever Conker's thought bubble pops up, you want to have him face the camera so that the key is right behind you, and you burn those iframes before they're actually, like, a problem. But because I didn't turn correctly, that key still had iframes when I turned, so I had to wait for the iframes to burn out before I could actually hit the key. Runners hate that room. It's just a very annoying room to start the game, and potentially like up to like 10-15 seconds of time loss, even more if you mess up the key. But we're out of there. Okay, so I mentioned earlier, we're playing on Xbox Series X. This game didn't get an Xbox 360 re-release by like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie did. It didn't really get re-released until the Xbox One era when Rare Replay came out. So we're actually playing this on Rare Replay, which, unlike the 2 Banjo games, Conker's Xbox version is not a port. It's kind of just a straight version of the game that's running on Xbox. They haven't gone through and made a ton of changes. There are a few, like they've changed a couple menu sprites and like the sticks and stuff, but by and large, the game is identical on N64 and Xbox. The difference is that Xbox runs at an extremely stable frame rate, whereas N64 is lagging basically the entire game at any given time. And Xbox loads about 2.5 minutes faster from N64, which, at least based on our count.
I think it's wild how like Rare Replay actually exists in the first place, especially when it came out, because like, isn't that like 20 plus like a 3D Rare game, just like
yeah, and it's full of like really like big and expansive games, and it's a relatively cheap collection to grab. Like it has Banjo, Conker, Banjo-Tooie, Jet Force Gemini. I think it has Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, a ton of their older like RC Pro-Ams. Like Rare Replay is an excellent collection if you like rare games. It's super cheap to get. It's even included with Game Pass. But I have a digital version that I downloaded because you know, I need this bad boy on me at all times. I stay strapped with my Conker copy.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we completed the first area there. Nothing major, but enjoy this song. This is the game's main theme, but played on the banjo for the farm area, and we basically won't get to hear this theme anywhere else in the game, so enjoy it while you hear it. Everybody loves this song. Gotta avoid these metal crate guys. So we need to take care of a mouse that's bothering some block people, and in order to do that, we need to get 3 pieces of cheese. Now, that number is extremely important. This game loves the number 3. This game is just absolutely feral for making you do 3 things. Nearly every time we do something, we do it in 3 variations. This is such a thing in the game that there actually exists from older YouTube, I think maybe like 2010s era YouTube. There is actually a developer Let's Play where several developers got together and played the game, and they started mocking their own game because they're like, I don't know what to do here, but you probably have to pick up 3 items or something. So literally, even the developers joke about how much the number 3 was incorporated into things in this game.
As it says, it's the comedy rule of 3.
It absolutely is. And I think when it games, it makes a lot of sense too. Like if you're doing a game, it's like, okay, well, first time you figure something out, second time you've got it, third time's the final is kind of like always the thought process. So it always gets a little bit harder as you go. Now this area, Barn Boys, we're going to be completing this full chapter in one go. So we're doing every chapter in the game 100%. That involves getting through the chapter, collecting all of the money, and just like 100%ing all of the story missions. We can't really get the money without doing the story missions. So the money is essentially a story flag for all intents and purposes. Like, the game locks several things behind certain amounts of money. like certain stuff doesn't happen until like you have $1,000 on you or $10,000 on you. Certain things are gated until you collect money, and most of the time that just means completing all the story objectives. Is exactly a couple. I believe it's one optional money pile in this game that you don't need to grab, but we're going to grab it because we're 100%ing. We're grabbing every single bit of money that we can to complete the story. And now the mouse is gone. Don't worry about it. He just decided to leave. That's definitely what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's gone. Like, never to be seen again. It's chill.
All right, so we just opened up the barn. There's some real neat stuff in that barn. So we need to go check it out. Now, something that I might have, I don't think I really mentioned, is that this game has a lot of RNG. And because of that, it's very difficult because you're constantly reacting to the way that the game decides to do things. Case in point, let's start with these hay guys. The hay guys do whatever they want. They'll usually stick around certain areas, but by and large, this hay attacks are different every time. We need to bait the pitchfork here into breaking all of the hay that's hopping around. Oh, I don't know how that missed. That's okay. Oh, he's just teasing me. It's okay. We just got this last one here.
Oh, they're a fast one, though.
This little guy is always the worst. Okay, come on. So what you want to do is like you
what the
hop.
heck?
Okay, wait. 1 second. I need
Nice.
to. 1, 2. Okay, so I count 2 after I hear Frankie the pitchfork say it's just too much, because then Conker jumps on this lever and holds on while the cutscene triggers, and then when the cutscene ends, he's actually warped back to the lever. So that's a neat little bit of tech there. Something that you're going to notice is that Conker's state is kind of maintained through cutscenes. So we're going to be doing some stuff sometimes, like before we enter a cutscene, in order to like put ourselves in an advantageous position when we get out. When I tried to talk to the King Bee there, I tried to put Conker on a wall so that Conker started moving when he entered the cutscene, so that when the cutscene ended, he was already moving. It's an extremely slight trick, but it's really cool. Okay, no, this isn't a slight trick. We're going for a boss skip here. Give me a second. Okay, cool. We just skipped entire phase 1 of that boss by... What happens is when phase 1 of the boss completes, he breaks the floor, causing you to fall down here. But that loading zone is just always there. So if you can just reach the loading zone, you can trigger phase 2, which luckily we were able to do. Now we're in the Haybot fight. Now this fight is very difficult because it's extremely specific movement. Everything I'm doing is exact movement manipulation in order to get him to fire a rocket, put his second rocket away, and then aggro on Conker like immediately. Okay, so we're going for a harder hit here on 2. Give me 1 second. Okay, we didn't get the optimal hit, but I'm just going to set myself up for the backup. So ideally, he shoots you mid-run so that you fly over to him. This is the only one we're not going to make him put away his second rocket. So yeah, we're getting him to aggro there. And then look, we got the rocket going straight for this thing. So what happens here is that we need to break a pipe, get him to jump into the water so that he gets like electrocuted, and then we hit the big do not push button on his back in order to actually deal damage. All right, this last hit is really fast, if I can do it correctly, so give me 1 second. Ooh, okay, this is dicey. Okay, we're just gonna do the backup. There's an extremely easy backup, which is just let the second rocket shoot and it hits. Okay,
easy every time.
Easy every time. So there's also a strat we call stomp strats here. By approaching like kind of at the edge of the water here and having him he tries to like, he no longer has arms like he used to. So he tries to stomp on Conker instead, which actually gets him to jump a little bit faster forward. But now we've got a problem. There are some OSHA violating wires hanging from the ceiling, and unfortunately this room is filling up with water. This is absolutely not OSHA approved. So everybody knows what you got to do when there's wires hanging from the ceiling. You get out your knives and you just start cutting them down like this.
Oh yeah.
What makes this game difficult in a lot of these, later on Conker will use a gun, and when he uses a gun he has a crosshair, but any other item, his slingshot or these knives or anything else he decides to throw, because there are some other items later, I don't want to spoil it, but any items he throws that aren't a gun does not have a crosshair. So you're kind of just have to know where he lines up with everything based on where the knives are. Like, I'm trying to basically just line it up in such a way that I can throw the knife and then I know it's going to hit. This wire is really the challenge right here. Okay, nice.
Easy every time.
Really good runners, like our Obliterator and Hollow Darkness, can, like, John Wick snipe those things. They throw and they don't even look to see if it hits. They know they did and they move on. I get a little bit more nervous, especially with that middle guy. So we have to be careful there. And those are two names that I want to shout out. I'm going to be using those names a lot. Our Obliterator and Hollow Darkness are the top two players this run. Our Obliterator has been running this game since like 2014 or something. She's just an absolute beast at this game and has overseen basically every major world record improvement for many years. Extremely nice person, one of my closest friends in speedrunning, and I honestly don't know where I would be in speedrunning without the help of the Conker community, specifically Hollow Darkness and Arb. They really inspired me to take it forward, and when I was getting good at the game, they were very nice to me, which made me want to continue. Conker is a small community. We're not Banjo-Kazooie in terms of like, you know, a lot of people love that game. We're definitely a smaller, almost like Conker is like, in terms of the four into the furryverse games, Conker is the smallest for sure.
I love that you're calling it that. It's great.
We're just gonna call it the furryverse. I don't know what else to call it.
It's true,
But yeah,
honestly.
small but dedicated community of runners. Now, this is one of the most technical movement sections in the entire game. Two dangerous jumps here. The first one being this. Okay, that looks good. So, fall damage in this game is kind of cooked. You either lose 1 health or you lose all your health with very little in between those two. The line between insta-death and 1 health is miraculously thin. So we need to worry about that when taking fall damage at any point in this game. It's not as bad as the Xbox remake of this game, Conker Live and Reloaded. In that game, falls that when you would survive in Bad Fur Day destroy you in that game, so we need to be careful. Okay, so we've got a really dangerous jump coming up after this. Okay, so we need to make it down to the cheese area. This is called the cheese jump. Give me a second. Okay, I think we'll be good. Nice. That's scary. The line between death and not death there is, again, very, very thin. And there's some micro adjustments you can make if you decide, if you hover it a little bit too late. But by and large, that jump is like one of those things that, like, when I was first running the game, it was like, okay, can we actually get out of Barn Boys? Because I don't know if I'll survive that jump this run. That was also a cool experience, talking about a game that I realized was making me good at speedrunning, or that I was good at, was when I started, when runs would get to parts I used to think were hard, and I'd be like, okay, that's over with, now I gotta move on. Like, I wouldn't even really think that hard about it. Okay, nice. Okay, that's all the Bs. We did a little trick there called a backwards momentum jump. If you are running somewhere and then you hold the opposite direction and jump immediately, all of Conker's speed is transferred into that jump. And you can actually, like, jump backwards. And we need to grab the money here, and we're out of Barn Boys. Jumping up for that money is more difficult than it looks. You have to jump, do a single jump, hover, cancel that jump with a hover, and then on the second jump, hold A to make it to the money. But a lot of people don't really realize that you have to do that. So I've actually seen people stuck trying to get that money for like hours, not realizing how it's supposed to jump. This game is very, like, it hides a lot of its most major mechanics from you. Because the beginning of the game, they go out of their way to really tell you a lot of stuff. And then by mid-game, it's like, you're lucky if you get a single explanation of the controls in later parts of the game. This game is absolutely not trying to help you. And the cool part I want to talk about, I did mention that Xbox and N64 are extremely similar. There is like a couple major differences. So one cool thing to talk about is calibration strat. On the N64, by holding LR and start, you can actually recalibrate your controller. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but you can. And while recalibrating, if you were to say hold a direction, whatever the opposite of the direction that you just held becomes your new neutral position. So imagine, if you will, that I recalibrated my controller while holding down. That means the game thinks my neutral position is now what was once the up position. And for whatever reason, if I then hold up on the control stick after recalibrating like that, the game is, I call it holding super up. All of a sudden, the game, like, doubles your inputs in several places and makes you move much faster. Now, this is mainly applicable to climbing ladders or ropes in this game, but it is a trick that only N64 can do. And it's a really neat little thing because it's basically just based around the fact that N64 controllers recalibrate in a very specific way. And now we've got the worst section in the game. Well, maybe not the worst, but definitely the speedrunner's least favorite, the bowl. So we need to hit 3 cows here with the bowl. And it's way more difficult than it looks because this bowl is extremely finicky and kind of just does what he wants. We need him to T-bone this, I don't know what to call it, this bullseye, so that he like sits there and we can jump on his head. But he really, if he approaches in just the wrong angle, he doesn't do that. And also, you'll notice that I'm trying to like make him turn around like a complete 180, but instead he like doesn't do that. It's very annoying. So right now we're gonna try to stay on the bowl because we want to slam into the next cow as early as possible here. As soon as they're done drinking from the prune juice. You'll never guess, you'll never believe it, but we have to hit 3 cows here. And
Whoa.
There's an increasing order of magnitude where the first cow you only have to hit once, the second cow you have to hit twice, and the third cow you have to hit 3 times.
Wow.
The number 3, this game's favorite invention. Also, I'm deliberately jumping into the water there to reset the bull's aggro. That makes him a charge Conker just slightly faster. Oh, okay, we almost got... You want to do a 2-hit here for the T-bone, but he was being a little bit rude there and didn't want to follow directions. That's okay. Also, like, the bull very much has a mind of his own. You'll note, like, I am basically just trying to deal with the bull's RNG at the same time and control him. I'm using the camera to like spin him around easier and keep him in the center because if the bull touches any of the edge here, he'll buck Conker off and I'll have to start this all over again. And that's not fun. We don't want to have to do that. Not this all over again, but I'll have to make him T-bone the thing and then jump on him again. It's a mess. We want to avoid that. So now we're just waiting for this final cow to drink from the prune juice so that we can slam the bull in one more time. Worth noting that on the Xbox remake, the bull is worse. You have to hit the cows less times, which is great, but the bull control, he's much more RNG in Live and Reloaded. Well, I charged a little too early, but luckily we were able to cancel it into the cow. You know, some good old cow cancels. Everybody's done those.
Oh yeah, naturally.
All right, final cow here. All right.
I'm still stuck on super up, by the way.
Oh, wait a minute. Holy, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wait.
Okay, so I need to talk about this real quick.
Oh.
I wasn't expecting to hit this trick. Oh my God. That is a 2-frame input, and I haven't hit this trick in a while. Oh my God. This is a gold.
Huge.
Okay, so I was going to talk about how I wasn't going to get that trick, but then I got it. So let's talk about that for a second.
All right.
I can't say the name of that clip, but that clip, we basically have to hold the A button in the loading zone so that when Conker loads into the next area, on frame 1, he jumps, and then we can hover out of bounds and jump into some money. All of this is done in order to skip Conker learning how to swim. The thing about this game is that moves aren't like Banjo-Kazooie, where it's like a permanent thing that alters your state. When we get to a later part of the game, Conker will just know how to swim, like he doesn't need to learn how to swim. So we skip like the little swimming tutorial there. But that jump is extremely hard on Xbox Series. So Xbox Series, I mentioned, loads about 2.5 minutes faster than N64. This is great, except for that skip. So that skip used to be free. You used to just hold A in the black screen in the loading zone, and when you started at the next area, Conker would do the frame 1 jump hover. But on Xbox, that area loads so fast that it becomes a 2-frame input. I'm not kidding. It went from the freest trick in the game to a 2-frame input, and it's very hard. So when I jumped into that, I pressed A for fun because I was like, oh, you know, I'll talk about how we're gonna miss this. And then I hit it. I haven't done that trick in, let's say, 2 years, so I just had to vibe it out, and it worked.
That's so awesome, honestly. I'm happy for you.
And yeah, so you'll notice there, I wasn't able to give proper warning because I genuinely wasn't expecting to hit the trick. But sometimes when the game doesn't have a skybox out of bounds, you get these really weird backgrounds where the game is like painting all of the images it sees a billion times over. So that was what you were seeing there, like. The game was kind of like wigging out because it really doesn't like you breaking it. That's a running thing in this game. Okay, he's pushing the ball down. Okay, we're good. You'll never guess. We have to roll 3 of these balls. This is the second one. Okay, let me grab this money here. Okay, so this is a bit of a neat jump. Because certain ground types Conker gets stuck in, he actually doesn't take fall damage from. So we can do a really neat little jump there to get stuck in the side and then immediately slide down without taking any damage or getting stuck. There's a lot of... I mentioned it earlier, but this game has a lot of micro movement where it's like, what I'm doing is pretty technically complicated and involves like a lot more than just like, than you might think, than like what it actively is showing. Because this game is just a lot of stuff that we're trying to manipulate, a lot of enemy cycles we need to worry about, you know, stuff like that. And some of that stuff just isn't visible because like we're deliberately keeping, oh my, he keeps sliding off the ledge. There we go. Okay. We just opened the way to our next chapter, Bat's Tower. Now this chapter contains my favorite trick in the game, a trick that I love so much I made the tutorial for. So if you want to learn how to do this, I know exactly how you can do it. First, we need to start swimming. You'll notice that this game has the most stressful air icon of all time. It's Conker's face as he slowly gets more stressed out from not having air. Which is very, like, it's like Sonic drowning music level of stressful. Because it's not very visible to a casual player, like, where the limit is. But we were actually just there. He almost started losing health. Okay, welcome to Bat's Tower. This is the skip I was talking about. I'm just going to show it, and then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what's going on there. So first things first, we're going to do a little cutscene skip. We're skipping a cutscene trigger there, and then here comes the trick. Ready? This is a big, like, okay. Well, now I just have a little bit more time. We just need to jump over here. Minor time loss. Okay, so I'm trying to do a very specific hover out of bounds here. Okay, hover into this wall, onto this log, and we're all the way at the top of the tower.
Oh, zip, okay.
Yep, so I mentioned earlier that this game has this game doesn't like to be broken, first and foremost. Because of the money in this game, story flags not lining up pile up very quickly, and this game knows when you are skipping things, and it does not like it. There are very few skips that we truly have. The biggest skip in the game only saves about 5 minutes, which comparatively is not a lot. But skips we can do involve stuff like that. So basically what's happening there, when you're out of bounds, the game desperately does not want you to be out of bounds. It tries to push you back in bounds however it can, including if there is a platform above you, the game says, I think you were supposed to be there, and puts you on the platform. So just because we're able to get out of bounds on that log there, we can upwarp straight to the top of the tower without doing a single bit of platforming entirely because of the game's out of bounds detection. So it's a neat little thing wherein, by preventing you from doing skips, they inadvertently created a different skip. And now is a good time as any to talk about this game's camera. This game is a very finicky camera. It's a thing that most people know about this game when they've played it. It's very frustrating to deal with. You'll notice that when I jump into the water, like the camera does a big 180 flip on me, and we have to worry about the camera getting stuck around corners in this room. So I'm approaching everything in a very specific way. Oh, nice, got the blue. Okay, yeah, so we needed to grab 3 cogs here. Imagine that, grabbing 3 of an item.
3 of a thing? Whoa, not in this game? Huh?
I know. Hard to fathom, but it's true. We are grabbing 3 things in Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Hell yeah.
It's neat. Actually, in Live and Reloaded, they did change the location of one of the cogs so that they're like in this big room, so there aren't like, because you'll notice that it's like you swim over to the underwater place, one room has 1 cog and one room has 2, but instead in Live and Reloaded, it's like they're all in different places. Okay, yeah, so this is a 180 camera flip. So when I jump into this doorway, I like jump with all the speed and then neutral stick because it's like Resident Evil camera. Like if you're holding forward, he immediately starts holding backwards when the camera flips. Resident Evil cameras may be a good way to describe some of the frustrating camera movements in this game. Okay, looks like I approached from the wrong side. That's okay, I'll wait for the cog to come around. Oh, and also you'll notice certain terrain types make Conker walk slower. This includes water where he's like up to his ankles, and that's the water we're in right now. So in order to make it through faster, we actually jump repeatedly through difficult terrain types. This prevents Conker from getting stuck and is just a little bit faster. But by and large, the fastest way to move in this game is just to run. Conker loves running. He's good at it. Live and Reloaded, the Xbox remake, actually has way more complex movement mechanics because they added a whole like weapon holding system that allows you to strafe. So in Live and Reloaded, the fastest way to move is to strafe diagonally while jumping everywhere, which is really, really cool. I'm not gonna lie. But that's the tower part of Bat's Tower completed, which is nice. I always worry about this section. The cogs can be very, very difficult sometimes, but they weren't too bad. Now we're going to swim back to this. So the story here is that some catfish have asked Conker to get some money out of their bank vault, but they can't because there's a giant bulldog slash fish that's blocking the way. So Conker, being the guy he is like, all right, I'll help you if there's some money in it for me. And they offer him some money, so he's like, all right, I'll do it. But they are like literal catfish, to be clear. Like, they are fish with cat faces. Now we're just taking them to their bank vault because we lowered... Well, the entire reason we went into that tower was basically to lower the bulldog's chain so that he can't bite them. And we wait for them to appear. All right. Now we've got difficulty without a crosshair. So, okay, you need to spell the magic words that open the door, which just happens to be open. Oh, we got fast OP! Okay, wow. Ooh. We're hitting stuff that I never hit. That's... Wow.
That's pretty OP to me, if you do say so myself.
That was great. That was a textbook door open. So you can hit fast OP very quickly, but it's way more difficult than it looks because, as I said before, we have no crosshair. Conker aims up and slightly to the left, so you just have to know his quirky aiming style. When you come in, you need to know the location of all 4 letters of open. Hitting a fast OP is relatively hard because you have to react very quickly to getting the O and then the P. Again, I don't normally hit fast OP. I was just thinking yesterday, I was like, is this impossible or am I just bad? It turns out that I got it, and we're all good. So here we are in Clang's lair. This is the Evil Clanker's Cavern from Banjo-Kazooie. Well, part 1 of Evil Clanker's Cavern. There's another area that I like to think of as Evil Clanker's Cavern later on. But inside of this area, we might not see them at all if I don't make any movement mistakes. There are these swimming fish called the Clangs swimming around. And they will bite you and slow you down if they see you, which is not good. And they're on a very specific movement cycle. So as long as I don't make a single movement mistake, I won't see any of them. There's a Clang right there swimming to our left. Now, I don't have enough health or I'd attempt what I call the risky swim, but there's a swim into this yellow tunnel here. I could have done this without stopping for air, but I would lose at least 3 health in the process. So risky swim is the only thing you can do when you have enough health to make it. So we didn't go for it, but that's okay. It barely saves time. And okay, stuck here. Camera, you'll notice that the camera sometimes puts us at very odd positions that make holding the control stick angles very goofy. That happens a lot here. Thankfully, we just need to swim up. This is an incredibly vertical section. Oh boy, okay, there we go. I almost got stuck again. We're heading into our next major boss of the game, and just a memorable area in general. I think a lot of people remember this area for the funny bits that they do here. Conker's gonna have a quick drink, and we need to go put out a fire. Apparently the only way that Conker can put out a fire. So, I am not going to describe it, but we just need to put out a fire.
Yeah.
These fire imps. We need to kill a bunch of these fire imps as fast as possible because we can run out. Not run out per se, but we're on a timer from the moment Conker drinks that basically allows us to put out this fire. And we need to put out these guys. Hang on, I need to... There we go. We need to put out these guys before the drink cycle runs out. Okay, that should be good. Yep. Okay, we're going into the boss now. Okay, good RNG too. So we need the boiler to face us the moment the battle starts. So he jumps on this platform and we jump into this thing at the same time, and this causes us to overlap a cutscene of the sewer opening on his face, which allows us to quickly run up and hit him. And we hit him from the side because this causes him to face the next area that we need him to be in. So we're basically just rotating him to each area where he's going to get hurt because he'll start charging us immediately here. So we run around, hit him from the side, and now he's going to follow us to the next sewer pipe so that we can hit him again. And I don't even need to look. As long as I ran up here and moved quickly, he'll always follow me. You can now. His the position he faces is entirely dependent on the position that Conker is in when Conker hits him. So if I hit him in a kind of a weird angle like I just did, like we have to worry about his ability to see us because his sight line is kind of directly in front of. Whoa, and I jumped into the wrong place. That's very funny. Okay, it's okay. We're just a little bit lost, and I need to grab health before I die. Conker's health in this game is 6 bars of chocolate, which that's
Yummy.
also my health. That's my health bar in real life.
Me too, honestly.
Okay, I think is this where I got like very turned around for a second. Okay, this is a big old never happened before moment. I got super turned around in this boss.
The thing.
Because I turned him into a very strange position. And so that's what I think happened. Okay, so we need to bait him into following us here, please. Sir. Ouch. That's okay. When I say that we have a lot of time loss timed into the estimate, I mean it. This game can be very mean on some days. And so we're all good. Plus, we've been hitting things really fast. This is the first major mistake. It's fine. Does that's the overlap?
Get that one skip you never get after all. So like we're chilling right now.
No, that's sick. I haven't really gotten that on Xbox like at all because of how hard it is. Okay, so that's the final hit on the boiler there. Now we need to roll these brass balls in order to escape the area, but these fire imps make this very annoying because while you're rolling the ball, the fire imps could at any point decide that they want to charge Conker. They'll say, hey, look at the furry guy, and they'll start approaching you, and they just do damage because they're very mean like that. Okay, luckily they weren't super mean. We can exit this area. We're almost out of Bat's Tower. Here, we need to grab this money. So this is a pretty funny cutscene coming up. But what happens here is that Conker, if you remember, the whole reason we're doing this is because some catfish offered us some money from their vault. And Conker gets the money, and they're like, okay, you can have 10%. And they're like, that's right, you can take $1. And he's like, $10? I did all this for $10? And then he decides, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to keep the money. And he walks away. And now the fish are very angry at us. But at the same time, this bullfish has gotten loose. So we just need to swim away while he charges the fish. And then we hit this trigger right here, which will trigger the end of the bullfish sequence. We don't actually, he doesn't actually need to eat all the fish in order to proceed. There's a ton of money up here, thankfully. And that's Bat's Tower done. We're blowing through early game, about to head into mid game. That was very solid early game. Early game in this game is very scary. Barn Boys and the number of skips and also the boss fights. Klang's Lair, Fast OP. There's a lot of really difficult stuff in the earlier part of the game. Not to say that there isn't difficult stuff in the later part of the game. We are cruising. I was scared of some stuff and we didn't hit it. Now we're going to go into this giant
right
mountain.
now, to say the least.
Oh, yeah. All right, now we're going to do 3 of one thing. Imagine that.
Whoa. Again?
I know. Not to surprise you. But so now, instead of cheese, these are little corn guys running around. We need to hit a total of... It's a total of 6, but it's an increasing number. So we start with 1 corn guy, then 2 corn guys, and 3 corn guys. And we need to, like, sacrifice them into the center. I love how Conker just immediately, like, you walk into this room and a voice is like, bring me some sweet corn. And Conker's like, all right, sure. Which is just like, you know, they're kind of just playing with video game expectations here, where it's like you as the character get put in increasingly ridiculous situations of which you have no control, and you're like, all right, sure, why not? I'll do it. I think that's just kind of the
delicious,
joke.
Honestly.
I love sweet corn,
I do like
yes.
to process sweet corn.
I also, like, if I could live as a deity that people sent sweet corn to, like, I get it. Like, I totally get it.
I definitely get it, honestly.
There's a lot of RNG in how these sweet corn work, because it's like where they decide to go sometimes, or how they decide to move is more based on Conker. But also this giant hand in the center, sometimes he does really nice things like he just did, and we can pick up the corn without having to hit it. And other times the hand in the center smacks the ever-loving heck out of Conker, and we can't do anything. Also, he has no hitbox. We can just fly through him in the center.
Convenient.
All right. That was a solid sweet corn section thanks to the help from the hand. And all of this just to summon our next boss, everybody's favorite, the GMP. Speedrunners don't like this boss, though, because he is very boring. So he's pretty simple, by the way, as far as this game goes, because a lot of the bosses involve movement manipulation or something interesting like that. This guy is super straightforward. He's going to throw poo balls at you, and he throws 6 before opening his mouth, and that's his weak spot where we can hit him. Oh, ouch. Wow, imagine getting hit like that on the first hit. Okay, he's gonna... There we go. Okay, I got a little discombobulated for a second, but it's fine. So this guy we affectionately describe as an auto-scroller with RNG, meaning that, like, you have, like, he will not open his mouth until he throws the 6 poo balls, which is, you know, that happens, he'll do that every time. But sometimes, after throwing 2, he might decide to just dip, and he has a few places, you'll notice that he has, like, a few distinct spots in each phase of the fight where he can pop out of. So after 2 poo balls, he can decide to dive and then approach a different position, which is time loss. All right, that was an insta shot, very nice. All right, so ideally we don't want him to move at all when throwing these. The second hit really isn't a big deal. A lot more knowledge is required for the third hit, and we'll get there, but it has to do with the fact that this guy has these set positions like I'm talking about. So, like, you need to know where he's going to appear because it's very important for reacting to your RNG in hit 3. So here comes the end of hit 2. Fun fact, when this game first released on Xbox Series X, this boss loaded so fast that it soft-locked the game. You would load into the boss, and there was like a 50, maybe higher, chance that the music would desync with the boss, which would cause him to never open his mouth for the weak spot. And this only got fixed because a Conker runner, our Obliterator, made a post that went semi-viral on Twitter at the time that Rareware actually saw and patched the game because they saw us talking about it. So, yeah, actually, that is a thing that happened. Okay, so I was talking about reacting to RNG for hit 3. So there are 3 places that he can decide to be in for this third phase of the fight. Where he just was behind us, you see that hole to the right? He can be in there, which he already was, and the middle spot. Basically, when it's time for him to open his mouth, we want him to not be in the middle spot because it is very hard to react from the middle spot. And what I mean is that if he's in the middle, you can either move fully to the right or fully to the left, but you can't really do both. So like he's on the right here. If he's on the right, like he was right behind me, right? There are 2 spots he could be, directly to my right or directly to my left. So I can very easily see where he's going to spawn and then react. So I'm trying to take note of that, of like where he is. Okay, so he decided to dive. The middle spot is his worst spot. And again, that's because I can either move fully right or fully left. I can't react to either. So you just have to guess if he's in the middle, whether or not he's going to go. But he decided to dive, so he's going to give us an easy hit 3 because he's the GOAT like that. But unfortunately, because he decided to dive twice in that phase, we lose time every time he decides to dive. Easy.
Easy every time.
All right. Here's the best part of the song. They do a really cool instrumental version of his main theme. And for those who don't know, this guy actually sings a whole song about himself. And there's like lyrics on screen they want you to follow along with. Like it's like karaoke. It's one of the most famous sequences from the game. I'd be surprised if most people watching this didn't know about the GMP, but worth noting. Unfortunately, we as speedrunners skip his song, which does upset a lot of people. But, you know, it's for the sake of speed. It's what we have to do.
You gotta go fast, honestly.
Now, there is a story mode version of this run, so I didn't really talk about it, but we're running chapters. And what that means is when you beat the game, every area you go to has like a set list of like story moments that you can replay whenever you want to. And if you just go to this menu that's part of the main menu, you can go anywhere in the game and just select and start from that point. And because this game, you have to see every cutscene at least once in order to skip them. Chapters lets us de facto skip every cutscene that isn't like a door opening or something. Well, okay, welcome to Evil Clanker's Cavern. We have to be very careful here. This is an insta-kill if we touch any of these blades. Just like that. Our poor boy. That's okay, he's alive still. Alright, we need to try this again. I was a little bit too slow on the movement. So these blades are very, very specific in terms of their movement cycle. But now we're off cycle a little bit, so we're just going to take it safe. What you want to do is get behind a blade and then immediately turn left so that no part of Conker is in the middle because he can easily get sliced up that way. And to be clear, there's only 3 blades there, but that is one of the hardest sections in the entire game. 3 blades.
I remember you showed me like a few things about this game at like SGQ last year, and then you showed me like just how wild that section is in particular. I want to feel ones later. We'll see, of course, but yeah.
Also, shout out to runner Hollow Darkness. He once fell through this bridge, so now nobody wants to run on it.
Understandable.
He was on PB pace, and he just fell through the bridge. We don't understand how it happened. We haven't been able to recreate it, but now we're all very terrified of taking that bridge.
That's fair.
Gotta watch. These T-Rexes have been on me lately. I had to watch out. All right, so we're heading into one of the most difficult chapters in the game here. Ooga Booga, the Cavemen chapter. This is a very tough chapter, but not because we're doing like a bunch of skips or anything, because there is a lot of really difficult reacting to enemies and also just RNG. Also, 2 follower missions. I hope you guys like follower missions.
Ooh.
First things first, rolling this guy. So we need to roll this rock guy into a tunnel here. And in order to do that, we have to walk by all these other rock guys who are sleeping outside of this club. And sometimes they decide to bully you and follow you around, like this guy is doing. And other times they don't go near you at all. So again, a bit of RNG here is just reacting to these rock guys because they are very, very mean. We have to like jump hover away from them because otherwise they will hurt Conker. Nice, and we got the slide off the statue there. We hit the statue at a very specific part so that mid-animation he slides down, which puts Conker at the base of the statue already when he's done. Another like tiny movement thing that this game is full of, just lots of like, oh yeah, and here's a tiny little bit of movement you can do here to skip this, or just like to do a tiny thing. So we rolled our rock guy here. All right, one of the best songs in the game coming up.
Yeah, we had the request from chat, to, like, you know, because we're going fast, but you're spending an extra minute on like in the club here listening to Rock Solid. Oh,
don't worry. We'll hear that. We'll hear quite a bit of the club song.
Hell yeah, it's a great song.
It is a great song. It's like actually just genuinely like a good techno track. Like if you played that in a club,
it really is.
I don't think people would realize it was from a 2001 N64 game. All right, so now we've got one of the follower missions that we really hate. I mean, we don't like any of the follower missions for that matter, but this guy is just a nightmare. So this is our friend Loopy. We're hatching him from the egg now. He's this adorable dinosaur that can't see more than like a foot in front of himself. But we're going to be doing something we call starve strats. So Loopy really wants to eat these cavemen, but by doing very specific movement manipulation, let's see if this might not have worked. I think he ate this guy. Okay, he ate this guy, that's okay. We want him to not eat cavemen as much as possible. It's a minor time loss, but it's tough. All right, so we're going to do something here. So we're going to run away, and we're at Loopy's max distance. And so instead of eating the cavemen, he's just going to follow Conker. And this is really funny because the cavemen's screams get progressively more like messed up as you do this, to the point where it's like for like a minute straight. Like you'll hear it. It's amazing. The more you do this, the more corrupted the cavemen's screams become. Yeah, but we call these starve strats because we're preventing Loopy from eating. Oh no, he ate the cavemen. He heard me.
He's just hungry. He wants a snack.
I know, but unfortunately, every snack he takes is a couple seconds. So.
No. He's just a little guy. He doesn't know better.
He's just a little guy. He really is. But unfortunately, he's killed so many speedruns. Just recently, Hollow Darkness lost a really good pace run because if Loopy's not close enough to you when you enter this door, you have to do the entire Loopy sequence in the last room over again. And he entered the room a little bit too fast and he lost Loopy. So we all have... we got beef with this guy, to say the least.
That's totally fair, actually.
He's very cute, but unfortunately, I will throw hands. Okay, so, we're trying to bring him to a little pedestal for reasons. We really cannot walk too far ahead. Like, I'm telling you, we're nearly at max distance already a lot of this time. Okay. All right, listen to the cavemen's screams here, those who can hear it, because they get really messed up because of what we did in the last room. All right, now we're gonna run up here to avoid him eating any more cavemen. We need him just to stand like right here, you know, for reasons. That's right here. Please stay there, thank you. He might follow me off. He does like to do that sometimes. Oh, yep, what did I just say? He followed me off.
No.
So another reason why speedrunners might not like this guy very much, he's probably going to go try to eat cavemen if I don't hurry. Because as soon as he eats some cavemen, another one immediately pops up to take their place.
Hello. Oh, hi, go.
We just get to look at Loopy's face just a little bit longer. I know he's just adorable. Okay, come on. Come up here, please.
He's so cute. I love him.
All right, stand there. Thank you. All right, he's going to stand there, and we're just going to hit this button. And he's gone now. Don't worry about it.
He just left. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, he just had to
Scary
go.
world.
But now, for unrelated reasons, this dino head's mouth has finally opened because we properly gave it the sacrifice it needed. So this guy's got a bit of a congestion problem. Everybody knows that you fix congestion by putting pepper directly into your nostrils.
Naturally.
And so that stops. He has like a gross like mucus tongue slide, and we can't like actually enter his mouth like we're supposed to until you make him sneeze. But we're actually not going to enter his mouth. So the game actually wants you to enter his mouth to get into the next room to get to a secret path. But there's this really neat thing that you can enter the next room right here through this door, and because you're in the room, the game just puts you like as though you walked through the dinosaur's mouth. Like it puts you on the secret path because it triggers the cutscene as soon as you enter the room, not when you hit a specific part of the room. So we skip walking through the dino's mouth just by going through another door. Like it's one of those things where it's just like, oh yeah, you could just do that. The game's not checking. All right, so a caveman got squished or something. I forget what happened. And Conker took his hat, and now he's being worshipped as a squirrel god by other cavemen. And so now they'll do our bidding. And this is important. We need them to enter the next area, but this is somehow a worse follower mission than Loopy in parts because these guys just randomly get hit by fireballs, and you might not see it happen. We need at least 3 of them to follow us here. Like, if one gets left behind, that's okay. But when you start losing any more than that, it becomes problematic because these guys are super necessary for the next part of the game. So we want them to follow us into this tunnel here, and then we can go ahead and rip it. All right. That should have gotten them all to follow us. All right, so we need to get into this club, rock solid. They won't let us in for whatever reason until we fight the clientele outside the club. Don't try to do this to enter clubs in real life. I don't think they like you doing this. But we need to kill 4 rockmen, these 4 rockmen that are hanging out outside of the club. There's this weird feature where the cavemen will randomly charge rockmen sometimes, but the rockmen cannot actually die until Conker has hit them with the frying pan at least once. So we're waiting, but this is another bit of an RNG moment where it's just like how the rockmen react to the cavemen, completely random. Sometimes the cavemen just get up on these guys and don't let them get a word in edgewise and destroy them. And other times the rockmen sit there and just kick the cavemen. Okay, minor flashing lights warning for this part of the game because it mimics like a club. So there's going to be like some colors moving around and stuff. But here we are in Rock Solid.
Banger.
Please spam your favorite dance and or jam emotes. This is a banger song and it's very appropriate for this part of the game. We're going to be doing a lot here. This is a pretty difficult section. No follower mission, thankfully, but a lot of push block puzzles that we have to worry about. The first of which starts with this guy that was behind the counter. We need to put him on a switch that's up here that opens up some other doors. What a good song. All right, now we need to have another drink here. So for some reason, this was the way they decided that you needed to move these rockmen in the holes. It's the same way we put out the fire. We're just gonna do it again. Oh, wait, he's walking into a really good spot. Okay, stay there, sir. Stay there, sir. These guys have like a couple RNG spots they could be in, but this is a very good spot. We want him as close to the hole as possible so that when we do this, it just like goes straight in. We only need 1 rockman, but then we'll need 2 later. Okay, nice.
Huge.
Okay, so we now need to wait for Conker's drink timer to end. So we have to like burn off the rest of the drink timer. There's nothing we can do. Basically, when the drink timer ends, Conker becomes hungover, and then you cure that with this little med station here. But until he becomes hungover, we're stuck in this drunk state. So we're just gonna go ahead and just wait for it to end. We're just waiting. We got a second to kill. This room is very difficult because if for whatever reason you mess up getting the Rockman in the holes and have to do another drink cycle, that's like an extra minute because you cannot speed up the drink cycle at all. You just have to wait for it to burn out. All right, wait. Okay, so another thing about another bit of tech here is that certain objects, when you push them, have to like build. Okay, hang on. We're gonna go. Ooh, okay, good. I was risking it. She could have easily pushed us both out there. It's not RNG, but it's on a timer, but we're good. And here's a bit of a neat bit of tech. That's called a frying pan cancel. Normally when you're on like slopes that are too steep for Conker, he'll run on them a bit before sliding off. But if you use the frying pan, you gain full control of Conker while sliding off the ledge, which gives you way more ability to control where you land. That's a neat bit of tech that Hollow Darkness found and started putting in the game. Hollow Darkness was also the innovator who got this game to start, who got higher level runners to start running on Xbox. He was one of the first players to really run on Xbox and showed that it could be a very fast console. Okay, oh boy, this guy's stuck in the corner. This happens. Okay, we're just gonna. He was so close to triggering it too. We might drop a cycle here. It's completely okay if we do, but let's try not to. We can still make this.
I believe.
This is a really good lineup.
Huge.
Okay, so we're gonna have to be very fast for the second Rockman. Oh, he's in amazing position. Oh my God, sir, please stay. Sir, please stay. All right, we gotta be fast. Come on. Nice. That's so much harder than it seems. That guy has some really bad positions, but he was in one of his best positions ever. The game is being so nice to me in parts today. In parts, not completely, but somewhat. All right, and I hope you guys enjoyed the dance break. That's rock solid. Now we've been conscripted by the mob to blow up a volcano.
Naturally.
So we're gonna carry this bomb to the center of the volcano. That's just what happens in this game. Oh my gosh! Woo, the cycles. I zoomed the camera in a bit early. So a neat thing about this game is that when enemy cycles or just anything with a cycle is off screen, it freezes the cycle completely. So as long as those guys aren't directly visible, you don't have to worry about them. But I zoomed the camera in a bit early, which started their cycles early, which means they were in spots I wasn't really expecting them in. Also, fun fact, this room has RNG fireballs that pop out of these pits. They're not really that much of a problem, but one runner, Benja, was killed here once while carrying this bomb by an RNG fireball. It's an extremely rare occurrence, but it can happen, which is just the beauty of Conker. It's full of these extremely rare, but definitely can happen silly moments.
It's very goofy, for sure.
This is that dino mouth that we skipped earlier. We actually have to go in now while carrying the bomb. A neat thing about this is that as long as you hold forward, you'll always make the cycle. Like, if you just follow my path and hold forward, you're going to make it. I promise. Now, we're coming up on the hardest part of this chapter, one of the hardest parts of this chapter here, which is most of the parts of this chapter. But this specifically is really hard. When I enter this loading zone, I'm skipping the cutscene immediately because there's cycles that start in the cutscene. And, banger song here, and extremely dangerous gameplay section. So I'm going to jump into this loading zone because that prevents Conker from sliding when he enters it. And now we're surfing on a hoverboard through lava. We've been mugged by 3 cavemen who stole all of our money. And now we need to get it back in this 3-cycle lap race. I don't know how I didn't die. Normally when you collide with a wall like that during the section, you just die, like straight up. So that's kind of amazing. We did lose some speed though, so this is gonna put. Oh my God! What a
gamer play.
That's really hard.
That look easy.
That is very hard. These dinosaurs, anything we hit for the most part is an insta kill. If we hit it near dead on with Conker, so we need to worry about that. So this section is interesting on N64 because you can recalibrate the control stick. So in order to move faster, you have to hold forward the entire time. So I'm holding forward and dipping left and right? On N64, if you guys remember, I talked about calibration a long time ago. You can recalibrate your N64 control stick so that your neutral position is up, which means that when you do this, the board moves by itself forward. You just need to move it left and right, which makes this way easier on N64. This is actually a lot harder on Xbox for 2 reasons. Because there's also a thing that we want to do here. You'll notice that we're in a different part of. Oh no, I hit the wall. It's okay, we're not dead. Okay, we can still kill this guy. We're good. So you might have noticed that we're taking a different path here because we're on the final cavemen. Imagine this is a system of laps. Okay, so he can just jump through the dinosaur's feet and I can't. That's rude. He literally just like clipped through. Okay, anyway, so you can do a trick here called lap skip, which skips having to go through this second part of the level here by killing all 3 cavemen in one go. But it requires you to have extremely specific movement and basically making 0 mistakes, which is very hard on Xbox. Even the highest level runners, Arb and Darkness, like neither of them are expecting to hit lap skip when they come here. They're hoping to hit lap skip, but otherwise it's a 20-second time loss. It's a very hard thing to do. All right, now we've entered the Coliseum. You guys like RNG? Because this is a lot of it. We got to worry about these cavemen here. We're on Evil Yoshi. His name is Fangy, because he's got fangs, and boy howdy does he like using them. So we want to eat and or hit cavemen into the lava here, depending on where they are. If they're too far into the center, eat them. If they're close to the wall, headbutt them. So like this. And then you can eat them while the other one is falling for a quick, like, time save. Oh, I don't know how that hit. The thing about Fangy is that he's extremely random. He can randomly decide to eat cavemen that you're not... So he just turned towards this caveman and ate him on his own. I did not guide him to do that. As long as we keep one in his mouth, it should prevent him from doing stuff like that. But we need to eat a caveman at some point here because it triggers a cutscene that we have to skip. Yeah, so we need to eat that caveman to trigger that cutscene. And now we're going to go ahead. Oh, that's a nice double. Doubles, hitting multiple cavemen in a row is hard. Their hitboxes are goofy. Okay, so now we're going to do a neat little thing here. Okay, that hits one guy at least. Oh, the triple! And the double! That's hard. I've seen people get as many as a 5-piece before in one hit. It's extremely difficult to do, but you can do it with the right hit. Shoutouts to Hollow Darkness. He's like the best person at this raptor section. Times here.
I don't know, you're pretty good at it too. What can I say?
Yeah. Oh, Fangy decided to bite this guy. I literally cannot do anything if the raptor decides at some point he just wants to eat a certain caveman. Like, I can't make him headbutt him. I can barely get him to move away. If he's like, I want to eat this guy, it's like, all right, bro. Bet. Go ahead. But luckily, that's the last bit of cavemen we need to eat. And now we're going to fight the big boss of this area. This is a pretty interesting boss fight because if I do it right, we should like get a pretty clean 3-cycle. So we headbutt him and then bite him. And if we're in the right part, what's going to happen is I'm going to swing around to the front and that'll let me set up the next hit immediately. But I need to charge him just the right point because if you charge him slightly too early, it messes up the whole thing. All right, so now if I did this right, we should swing back around to the front for the final hit. Hold forward, get to the edge of the bone, turn around, wait for him to go up, and headbutt. All right, excellent 3-cycle. This boss is one of those ones that's like pretty simple when you do it right, but if you mess up in any way, it's like good luck because it gets really messy after that because we're so attuned to manipulating his movement and his attacks that like if you don't manip it, it's just kind of like good luck, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. We're going to be leaving the cavemen area and taking a quick break here in a second because breaks are important to your overall health as a gamer.
It's true. It's true.
We're just going to grab some money and be on our way. This money signals the end of the Ooga Booga chapter. And shoutouts to Hollow Darkness. He came up with this bit of movement here. Frying pan cancel off that ledge. And a neat property is that whenever you're over water, Conker will never go into a helpless animation when he falls. So while you're over water, you can delay your hover as long as you want to, and you'll never take any damage for it. And pause. We're gonna pause there, gamers.
Perfect. In that case, we'll be back just a bit, everybody, with more. Welcome back, everybody, to do all the things. The Hotfix show, all about Hermsmith speedruns and completionist categories in general. I know y'all are excited to see more of Conkers here. You know, there's been that's been popping off the entire run, so I'd say we don't delay even further. Honestly, let's get back into Brandia if you whenever you're ready.
All right, we're gonna count in 3 here to unpause. In 3, 2, 1. Conker time. So, for those who might have just forgot, we completed the caveman chapter, and now we're headed into next part of the game. So this is the third segment that takes place in our main hub world here. And this is a tough segment. Also, one of the only segments in the game that's ever been tasked, because this game is actually kind of hard to task. It desyncs quite a bit. Oh, and we missed this jump by a little bit. That's okay. That's a minor time loss. We just need to run to the hive now. So I was trying to do a jump there called hive jump. There's some money we need to get. That's actually one of the only optional money things in the game that we need to get, but we're getting it anyway because this is chapters 100%. We need all that money. We were trying to do a jump into the back of the hive there, but I got a bit of a goofy camera angle, which can absolutely happen. So we're gonna go ahead around the corner here and grab it now. But this hive may look familiar. We were here in the beginning of the game because one of the first missions is stealing back a bee's hive that was stolen by some wasps. And unfortunately, they stole the hive again. But this time they mean business. So we're gonna have to go into their turf and show them why they can't steal the hive. So this section is particularly difficult. We're gonna be doing some shooting here, and these wasp hitboxes leave a lot to be desired. So here we go. So let's talk about this section. The wasps spawn in oh my god, that's good. Okay, so you already you can see here though, like these wasps have very annoying flight patterns and hitboxes, and even though they're right in the crosshair, the bullets take a second to travel to them, so you don't always hit them immediately. They do have an exact spawn though. So what happens is they spawn left, middle, right, left, middle, right. So there's like 3 areas. They're gonna spawn in an exact way. So they spawn in the first area, left, middle, right, second area, and third area that way. And then for the final phase, they're gonna spawn left, middle, right, but from each area, if that makes sense. So what I mean is that, like, so take note of how they're doing this here when I say left. Oh, wow, 3 in a row, that's good. We're taking our left, middle, right. More than 3 for once. This game counts forward. Okay, so
I can't believe
so
it.
We're doing left, middle, right, but a more specific pattern. So what's happening here is that it's left, 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 then middle, 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 then right, right, right. So they're spawning. Now they're spawning from each individual area in the way that they would normally spawn. Oh, and so ideally, if you're really good at shooting them here, you would never really need to reload. So I'm actually, a couple things. In order to save on bullets and prevent more reloads, I'm tapping the Z button. That also makes it easier to just guide the cannon. This is the hive. The hive turns into a machine gun. This is just lore for the Conker game. Everybody knows this. We have to worry because, okay, this is actually pretty good despite losing them a little bit. Let's just get these last couple guys, so we're reloading again. Yeah, if you're really good at this section, you never need to reload. Okay, but that was actually really solid. Despite the 2 reloads. So now we just wait for the next part to trigger, and we run out of here with the hive. So worth noting that on the first time we do the hive on N64, there is a little trick that we can't do on Xbox called hive skip, where you grab the hive, then throw it off of a ledge before you trigger the wasps, and then you jump down, grab the hive, and take it to Mrs. B before, and it doesn't even, before the wasps ever trigger. We can't do that on Xbox, and we also can't, ow, that's an RNG stab. That was rude. We also can't throw the hive or skip it for the second time, so we gotta do it anyway. But we're just taking the hive back to Mrs. B like we did in the beginning, just with some extra steps here. And there's a funny little thing I'm gonna be trying to do. If I skip the cutscene of throwing the hive frame perfectly, it's going to overlay the music from this part of the game onto the level, and it sounds like a mess. So I'm gonna try to do that. Nope, we didn't get it. That's okay. It's very silly. Okay, so now we've got these worms. They're very, very annoying, but you can do it just right. Their hitboxes aren't active when they're first popping up out of the ground, so you can jump over them like immediately. And this is one of those things that looks really simple when I'm doing it, but is actively a very annoying thing if you don't really know where they spawn or how their hitboxes work. But remember how I said earlier that, like, money leads to, like, triggers in the game? This is a good example of one. This Mr. Barrel guy will not proceed unless we basically collected all of the money up until this point in the game. Not all of it. There's, like, 1 or 2 we can miss, but you cannot trigger that without money from basically everything else. The game soft locks you from moving forward if you try. right, now we're in the spooky chapter. This is probably my favorite chapter. This is one of the coolest. Has some of the has the biggest skip in the game and some of the coolest movement sections. But then there's also this right at the beginning, which is very annoying. So we're skipping some movement by hitting this lever, which opens up the door to a graveyard that we need to go into. Now, normally, in order to do this, you need to okay, camera, what are we doing here, man?
Camera. Okay.
This is that is a certified Conker camera moment, TM.
Jeez, I got stuck right there in the corner. Amazing.
Yeah, this game's camera really does try its best. Unfortunately, just about everything makes it get caught. So this is our friend Greg the Grim Reaper. We never met him during this game because the only time you see Greg is in story mode. Very specifically, the first time you die, you witness a 3-minute cutscene where Greg the Grim Reaper explains the concept of the lives in the game to you in a farcical way. And I want to clear up just a bit of information I once saw. So whenever you see Greg in the spooky land, Conker greets him like he knows him. And he does this whether or not you've actually met Greg in the story mode. There is no special dialogue if you never meet Greg and you come to this area. I just want to point that out. That's a common misconception about Greg in this area. He doesn't actually have special dialogue if you've never died before. They basically have assumed you've died at this point, because I don't know how a casual player hasn't died by this point. I'm gonna be honest. Now all of a sudden we're shooting zombies in the head, which is very different from stealing the hive back from the wasp. It's just one of this game's many gameplay sections. So the fastest and the only way to kill these zombies is with a quick shot to the head. If you shoot them in the chest or the legs, it'll blow off their legs and they'll run at you on the ground. So we need to get headshots. And the shotgun we're having has this neat little thing where by double tapping the Z button, we skip the reload animation. And so we can just endlessly do shots without reloading by mashing the Z button every time we shoot. And we want to kill 12 zombies here because this will summon Greg in order to progress to the next area. But get this, it's RNG how long it takes Greg to appear. Isn't that awesome?
No, it's not awesome.
So now we've got more worms. Same as before, we just want to avoid these guys as much as possible. I take these ones a bit safer because the platform we're on is just so thin. But one thing you need to know is basically all of the worms are in between the white stone and the grass, so it's very easy to remember. And we're going to skip the last couple worms because we can just hover onto this ledge. Now, I'm going to skip the longest cutscene in the game, and now we're a bat.
I see.
And this is one of the best songs in the game right here. If you haven't heard this song, please enjoy it. So we need not 3, we need to kill or bring 6 or I think 7 villagers into this giant meat grinder here. So as it turns out, there was a vampire squirrel living in this mansion who I think is distantly related to Conker or something. And the villagers storm while you guys are having a nice dinner. And he's like, Conker, it's time to help. And so he turns you into a bat, and now my job is to feed him the villagers. This part, oh, whoa, my lord, what a snipe. Yeah, so the villagers throw stakes at you. And I have never been hit right there. That was some John Wick aiming if I've ever seen it. That villager deserves a raise, honestly. I'm not even mad. That's just impressive. So we have a very specific path that we're following to find all of our villagers here. So it's going to be 1 in the back, 2 in the library, 1 in the front, 1 in the library, and then 2 in the front. And that's just rooms in the house that we're going to. And after every 2 guys, we need to skip a cutscene of the vampire enjoying the delicious blood meal. And you'll notice that we move in a very specific way. So we climb upwards and then use the quick tap the R button to change our direction and dive downwards because we gain a ton of speed on our downward momentum. This makes the bat one of the most technically controlling. Oh, this guy is being funny here. I got juked the first time, so that made it much harder to hit him. That's okay. There we go. Got him. All right. Got him. So these villagers aren't actually RNG in terms of where they're going to be, because they're a little RNG. Sometimes they make different decisions, but for the most part, I know where some of these guys are going to be, or at least Oh wow. Okay, yeah. And sometimes if I'm also just like waiting. If I don't know where they are completely, I'm waiting for Conker's bat sense to tell me that they're right below me. But that guy decided to run between the stacks there, so there's nothing I can do. But by and large, we're going to get the same villagers near the same place every time. It only starts to get dicey when we go into the front room here, which we're about to do. So these villagers, there's 3 guys all by the front door. We need at least 2 of them. But as you saw, you know, we can get hit by the stakes they're throwing, so we need to be very careful here. Because the one we grab is not really the problem, but the ones around them. I'm doing some weird dives to kind of bait them into throwing. Oh, places I'm not gonna be! Oh my god, that was right behind me. Oh my lord. It's okay though, we made it.
Nothing to worry about.
And dive. Okay, 1 more villager left, and then we're coming up on the biggest skip in the game, which I'm very excited. Because it's bonkers, to say the least.
Bonkers and conkers, if you will.
I had that same thought, almost exactly.
Same brain cell, let's go.
My turn with the brain cell today.
Oh, beans.
All right, we're going to carry this last villager. So I should say, there's a new version of the skip I'm talking about that I'm opting not to go for here because I want to show off the old legacy version of it. But we'll talk about the new version after we do the old version. So, dropping the last villager here, we de-transform. I think we have 3 health. Yep, we're good. Okay, so, remember that whole property about platforms? Okay, flashing lights warning. Okay, remember that property about platforms above you? So we just zipped to the top of the mansion, and now we're going to skip to the final key here.
If you say so.
Oh, that was just a little too high, and he died. That's okay. Easy reset. Easy reset. Thankfully, this is super simple. So what's happening there is that we need 3 keys to exit the mansion, but not actually. The 3rd key triggers the door and lets us leave. And it just so happens we can get straight to the 3rd key if we feel like it. So there's this little thing here. So clipping into this is the easy part. The hard part is this jump. Okay, that should be good. That looks solid to me. Easy.
Nice.
Now, it's not over. We can't fall here because falling here would also be very annoying. We need to make it over to the key now. So hang on. Let me lock in until we get to the key. This right here, this jump sucks. This game has dynamic shadows. If you notice on the ground, Conker's shadow isn't like a circle on the ground. It's actually like dynamically changes depending on the light, which is very impressive for N64 graphics.
Agreed, yeah.
But because of that, because the shadows are so dynamic, I can't really tell where I'm landing because there's no, like, Banjo-Kazooie just has a little circle on the ground that says this is your shadow, and it never changes. That makes it very easy to land. Conker, there's nothing below him. You just kind of have to vibe and just know where he is. But we got the skip, and we're out of the mansion now. And we just need to roll to the end of the spooky chapter. Thankfully, our friend Mr. Barrel from earlier is here, and apparently he's just an absolute beast because he can run over zombies and these zombie worms. Do not hold forward. Only use left and right. The barrel will propel itself forward. If you try to hold forward here, you will die. I mean it. Don't hold forward. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of the game here, but we've got the longest and hardest chapter coming up, and we're going to it. There's a bit of an extended movement sequence to make it there. But while we're rolling, I also want to say, so Conker runners also run the Xbox remake, which I've mentioned several times, Conker Live and Reloaded, which actually runners are big fans of because the game is different from BFD and has like really cool movement mechanics and is both the same and different, if that makes sense. Like, you're playing the same game, doing a lot of the same stuff, but obviously it's a remake, so you're doing different things. People always ask us, like, as runners, how do we feel about Clar? So I just want to point out, we love Clar, Conker Live and Reloaded. That's the name of it if you don't know. And we all love Clar. It's different in its own beautiful way. It's a really sick speed run. It obviously gets less attention than BFD. It's just not as popular. But hey, it is available for download on the Xbox Marketplace. So if you have an Xbox and you really like Conker Live and Reloaded, like, you should come play it with us. There's actually still a pretty big community of people that play Conker Live and Reloaded because it had online multiplayer. Like, there's a relatively sizable community of people who literally just play the multiplayer together still, which is really cool for a game that came out in 2005. So yeah, I just wanted to shout out Clar while we were running to the next objective here. So while we were in the spooky chapter, apparently a war broke out between the squirrels and some evil teddy bears. And I guess we're going to help on the side of the squirrels. I'm joining the squirrel army on the side of the squirrels. Imagine that.
Can't believe it, honestly.
So we've entered the chapter here. Welcome to It's War. This entire chapter, this entire chapter is an extended Saving Private Ryan parody, which is just incredible. The entire ending of this game is just one wild set-piece movie reference after another. In order to make it to the war, though, we're stuck here. The power went out at this place, and a plane crashed, blocking our exit. So we need to both turn the power on and get the wreckage of the plane out of the way so that we can send the boats out to go storm the beach. So in order to destroy the plane, we need to send these TNT gremlins to it. These guys just have TNT strapped to their back, and they don't even realize it, and we're going to push them into the right place and then blow them up so that they destroy the plane for us. This part is hard because these spider mines blow up when you get too close to them, and the activation window, like, I am basically, if you saw me walk through those two, I was like on the line between both of them. If I went too far to the left or right there, it would have exploded and killed the TNT guy. Okay, that's gonna explode. It's okay though. But yeah, the window between success and failure is abnormally small here. I just want to point that out. So we managed to snake through those guys, so we're good on those spider bots. Now we have this eel. We need to turn the power on because there's an electric eel swimming around, and so we're going to bait him into running into 3, imagine that, rings.
3?
I know! Who could have guessed? So we're going to do this all in one swim, and if we do it right, we should surface before we start losing health. And then we should get a cutscene of the eel being electrocuted. Oh no, he followed me up into the water. That's funny. I love when they do things I'm not expecting. Okay, hang on, just let him. He literally just needs to touch this, bro.
Come on.
Touch grass, but the grass is an underwater ring. Okay, there we go. So that turns the light on. That's part 1 of being able to get out of here. Part 2 is this wreckage of the plane that we need to remove. So we're going to start doing that. So if you remember, we had a couple seconds ago, we placed our TNT guy, and he's just chilling over there. We're just going to... And don't worry about it. We're just going to go grab another TNT guy now.
He just left, yeah. He has things to do.
He's in the same place as Loopy, you know. They're all just chilling. They're having a great time. They're running up on a field somewhere, and they're having a good time.
I miss Loopy ever since he went to college.
He had to go get his degree.
Mm-hmm.
So the second part with the TNT gremlins isn't too bad. This is all movement cycles from these moving crates here. They're just a lot easier to deal with than the spider robots, because the spider robots, like I said, the activation window on those guys is pretty large. So you're walking a very tight line, not blow them up. With these, the cycle is pretty bare. It's like pretty cut and dry. It's usually going to be the same thing every time, as long as you do the same thing. And there's a bit of a property with these TNT guys. If we need to wait for something to happen, I'm going to keep pushing them into a corner because they have to build up speed, and it takes a while for them to build up that speed to move forward faster. So we're going to cheat that a little bit by making them, we're basically just like keeping them walking at all times to prevent them from slowing down if we have to wait for something to happen. That way we're never like slowing them down, because it does take a couple seconds off your time to like recharge them. Okay. So we need to hit our second TNT guy here. Jump up here, please. I'm gonna turn the camera so that it's already turned and we don't have to turn it here. Again, no crosshair makes this a bit annoying. You just kind of have to vibe it out and know where Conker's going to shoot. All right, now we head to the beaches. We skipped a really long cutscene there, but Conker is now storming the beach. Again, this is an extended Saving Private Ryan parody. So here's a fun little thing that casual players might not know about. You can just crawl under this and skip this entire section. I don't know if that's intended. All right, now the game becomes a third-person shooter with some really difficult mechanics. I'm gonna grab some extra health here and here. We're gonna be shooting a lot here, and I gotta worry about it, so... Okay. That was good. We killed one of those two guys that we just killed. Okay, yeah, these guys are excellent shots most of the time, so we really need to worry about that. So there are these evil teddy bears called teddies that we're killing. And also these red lines, if I run into them, it explodes Conker and does 1 damage. But if there's multiple, he'll explode. You have no iframes, so if he hits one, he'll fall into the other and die immediately. We need to jump through this hallway here. So this guy's going to shoot us here almost entirely. Oh, wow, he didn't. He never not shoot me. So yeah, instead of fighting these enemies, we're literally just running past them. And if you kill the last guy in the hallway, it will always trigger the end of the hallway. Okay, so real quick, the game has a chance to crash here. It won't be a super big deal if it does. We can get back to where we need to be pretty quickly. But I'm just telling you now, there is a big chance, not a big chance, there's a 20-ish% chance that the game crashes here. Because if you haven't noticed, we're not killing a single enemy, and we're also just filling this hallway with stuff and particle effects. Okay, so it's around this last corner. It might crash. Yay! We did it! We're alive!
Let's go!
No crash! Yes, it has crashed on PvPace before. Yes, it has killed runs.
No.
In case anybody's wondering. Alright, so now we're in the casualty department, and we're fighting teddy doctors who throw stuff at you. There's a neat little movement optimization that we do here where after killing the first couple guys, we move over here because once you kill a couple rounds of these teddy doctors, a giant one appears, and he appears like right here, so we're going to be right up on him when he spawns, which makes it really nice. Again, with the bullets here, I want to avoid like spamming bullets as much as possible, so I am usually trying to like pump the R button, or the Z button, or whatever you want to call it, in order to like prevent losing too many shots, because having to reload loses time in a lot of these scenarios. Oh, hey, get back here, mister. Oh, there we go. Okay, that should spawn this guy. Okay, so they've trapped one of our squirrel friends here. We need to hit the switch to save him. Okay, he's definitely saved. Don't worry about it. And we opened the door.
Woo!
So the turret room, this is a big improvement over N64, and you'll see why in a bit, but basically in this room, we're going to be doing, this room is obviously has a lot of gunning in it, and on N64, this room runs at like 20 FPS, and I'm like not capping. This room runs so slow on N64 once you get into the weeds because of how many enemies there are and all the effects going on. So we need, this guy's body needs to clear so that we can jump into the turret, but we're not actually going to use the turret. So all the teddies in this room are one-hit kill, and it's actually a lot faster to use your own machine guns here. So we use the turret to trigger the teddies to start, but then we immediately jump out and we start using our own guns. And this is where the frame rate problems come in on N64, because once you jump out and start shooting here, this room tanks. My split for this when I moved over to Xbox is just frame rate with a bunch of exclamation and question mark points, because it was like a joke, like I'm not used to the frame rate in this room being so nice. So the teddies are going to spawn in a very specific pattern. It's going to be 8 from the right, 8 from the left, 4 from the right, 4 from the left, and then they're going to do a thing where they kind of like spawn simultaneously on the right and left, and then it's going to be 4 right and left again before we leave. They have a very specific spawn. But like I said, all the teddies in this room are one-hit KO, I think just to like, because they wanted to do that for the turret or whatever. So that makes this part a lot more simple when you can use your own guns. Conker's guns just have more dexterity and you can aim faster with them. The turret is extremely slow. We're just waiting for a guy. One of the guys, there's a guy hiding around a corner right now, which is why we can't see anybody. And thankfully that guy shooting us made us turn directly towards him. All right, now this should be the last. I know, super convenient. Now this should be the last bunch of guys here. Once we kill the last guy here, the door should open if I counted correctly. Yes, I counted correctly. Good news, guys. I can still count.
Woo! We gotta count to 3 after all, but anything past that?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Absolutely. Okay, so I know you guys were really sad about not having any follower missions, but don't worry, that's about to change.
Oh, thank goodness.
So, as part of the Saving Private Ryan parody, we meet a guy called another squirrel whose name is Rodent, and this part of the game is called Saving Private Rodent. So, Rodent is wearing like a special like ballistic armor that is impervious to like everything. So we need him here. We're gonna try, but he's very mean, and he just decides to follow you or random. Okay, hang on. We're gonna try to do a thing here. Yes, we got it. Look, Rodent get launched forward at an extremely high rate. That's a Rodent launch. What happens is there are these missiles that drop from the sky. Okay, he did launch into a weird spot, but it's okay. I wanted to show that off anyway. We're just gonna wait for him to meet us. He's very confused. Okay, so yeah, see these missiles that drop from the sky? Basically, if Rodent is running at full speed, and that's a big if, because sometimes he just decides to stop and smell the roses. This is completely random. But if he's running at just the right speed, you can get him to run under a missile, which launches him forward. It saves you some time having to wait for him. Unfortunately, there he did launch into a weird spot. Getting to show off the launch at all is fun because it's extremely movement dependent. That's okay. Also, you'll see Rodent's pathfinding is very interesting. He stops to look in like every direction to see if you're there. So getting Rodent to turn around is a really bad idea for time. All right, so now we need to hit 4. I know it's a number we haven't heard of before. Things on this door.
4? What is
4,
that?
I know.
Never heard of it.
We need to be careful here. You can get killed pretty quickly, but I can't really do anything about it. Okay, as long as we survive this cutscene, okay, we're good. Now we want to die here because you just can't make it through this section alive. If you'll notice, they're shooting like crazy, and you literally can lose an entire bar of chocolate on one teddy just deciding to unload on you right there. So I die on purpose just to avoid that, getting up to the big door. Yeah, okay, so that ends... Oh, and I just got shot into that loading zone. Okay. So that ends the Rodent section. And now here's our boy, the tank. So we're going to be using this tank quite a bit here to end the war chapter. And there's some tech that we actually can't do. But first we need to flip a switch to open the door. So this is a neat bit of movement here. We're going to be doing some very specific jumps in order to avoid taking damage. Okay, now intentional damage here, because we're going to damage boost through that final spider robot. And wouldn't you know it, we jumped over 3 pits of acid or whatever this is supposed to be.
3 pits.
1, 2, a 3.
Amazing.
So this section is a little bit different on Xbox and is actually somewhat faster on N64. So again, calibration strats. Calibration strats break this tank in half. So if you recalibrate and hold super up with the tank, you get this incredible thing where the tank moves so fast that you can straight up jump this gap right here without having to lower the bridge. Unfortunately, I just got shot at, so we're gonna wait for this. We have to wait for this thing to turn. I lost a little bit of movement here. This little spinny tower guy, we're trying to take this guy down, and if he sees Conker, he just shoots and shoots and shoots and shoots, and you can't really do anything about it. And his ability to see you goes quite far in the right or left, so we want to wait for a while to have him move. So now we're going to do a cool thing here. Kind of a bit of a skip. So hang on, we're going to I'm trying to back into this ledge, and we're slowly falling down the ledge. We're going to shoot this and this. So that leg, those 2 legs, we were only supposed to be able to hit one of the legs of the tower there, but because we did what we just did, we were actually able to hit 2 in one go, which prevents us from having to walk further around the tower. It was a bit of a skip there that helps destroy one of the legs early, so that these 2 legs that we're facing are 2 of the last ones left. So we need to lower this bridge. So in N64, you actually don't need to lower either of these bridges because you recalibrate and the tank can jump the gap. It's really, really sick. And it's a neat little tech exclusive to N64. And although N64 has a little bit of tech like that and recalibration, ultimately Xbox is always going to be faster because the frame rate being stable and the insta loads just save so much time by comparison. That even though N64 has a few exclusive things, none of them add up even close to the technical saves of Xbox. And for the record, the records are held. No pun intended for the record, but the N64 and the Xbox records are both held by our Obliterator. She's just that good, and it's like a difference of 6 minutes, and that's almost just like literally just the difference between loading and lag than anything else. Because it's a 120 currently. It's a 120 on Xbox and like a 126, I think, on N64, like a 127. Also, these subs may be the worst hitboxes of all time. I don't know if the subs have bad hitboxes or the water just eats every missile that I shoot. Either way, this part is very annoying because shots that look perfectly fine get eaten by the water, and shots that don't look good make it sometimes. But we're going to have to shoot subs 3 times.
Whoa!
But, and again, we're going to do increasing order. So first we shoot 3 subs, then 5 subs, then 7. Or sometimes we do 3, 6, and 6, depending on how they spawn, or how quick we're able to destroy them.
While we're shooting subs here, mind if I read some announcements?
Yes, please.
Absolutely. In that case, yeah, if y'all looking just keep up with Hotfix in general, go join our Discord. The official Games with Discord, and at the Hotfix role there, stay in the loop for upcoming events, chat with staff, and more. Use !support Discord and Twitch chat for invites and more info in general. If you missed this Hotfix here, this episode of Do All the Things Tonight, you can always see it in a week or so on our YouTube channel. Or you can catch up on past Hotfix shows, along with this one, of course, and marathons. Just go to youtube.com/gamesdonequick for that one. If you're watching this on YouTube as well, hey, consider liking this video, subscribing, and becoming a channel member. Support GDQ. Now, how more subs do we have to shoot here? In the meantime.
All right, we have 7 left, and we're in the final sub area, so this is where they start to get really...
Sub area.
Oh yeah, I guess that does mean something.
Yeah.
Subspace. Oh, come on.
Like the emissary.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's good. Okay, so the last 2 should spawn right next to each other. Oh, no. Okay, come on. I want to be clear here. Nobody understands these subs in terms of, like, how annoying their hitboxes are. We're all, like, baffled. We don't know if it's the water eating the missiles or if the subs hitboxes are just that bad. All right, now we've got a boss fight coming up. This one is really cool, very specific. Again, we're going to be doing a lot of quick manipulation. So we skip a cutscene, and now there's a giant spider robot teddy bear with a girl puppet on his hand. You know, just conquer things. So he pulls out 2 weapons, which we can immediately destroy. And so now we need to do a thing here. So we take the puppet off his hand, and then we're going to try to... Okay, so we hit him in the back there, but we hit him just slow enough. So what we want to do there, you saw there was like, every time you knock her off, there's like a little cutscene where she like swears at you for knocking her off. And we can skip that cutscene by hitting, his hitbox is huge in the back there. So by hitting him in the back at just the right spot, we skip that cutscene. That's okay. Alright, and that kills him. You have to hit him 3 times. Imagine that. Alright. I'm going to die on purpose here because I only have 2 health and I'd like to refill it. So we're going to die on purpose at the beginning to refill our health here. So this is Countdown. This is one of the hardest movement sections in the game because, again, you have no iframes when you hit through these red things. So if you hit one that's on top of several, you will fall into them and die. You can literally lose an entire heart in one go. Oh, and we need to hover very specifically through that one. All right, gotta watch out here. Big hover. Woo! Okay. That's always scary. Nice. We're gonna stop and crawl underneath this one. You can jump over it, but it's very specific. All right, now we're gonna be attacked. We need to kill 3. Imagine this: 3 teddies in order to proceed. There's more than 3, but 3. So 1, 2, and then this last guy here is always a bit of a straggler. If you hit them like... Oh, nice. So that was an insta-kill. Oh, and normally you're supposed to get stabbed there, but I didn't get stabbed. That's amazing. Not supposed to, but normally you will get stabbed there. So not getting stabbed is pretty lucky. And once again, we're going to just cheat on the beach here and crawl under to victory. We're actually heading into the final chapter. Now, Shasta, I have to ask you, have you seen the ending to this game at all?
I actually have, but I'm not going to say anything.
Okay,
It's
I wasn't
wild.
sure if you. Yeah, I was gonna say if you knew. But even though we just did war, the last chapter is one of the most interesting because of the twists and turns it's gonna take. So-
yeah, like it comes out of nowhere pretty much.
Yes.
That's pretty
So
wild.
the windmill has been destroyed because Rodent got flung into it at the end of the war chapter. He's still alive though, don't worry. So we want to skip a cutscene where Conker sees Rodent again by jumping up here and hovering onto some very specific geometry. I never really get that completely right. And that avoids the Rodent cutscene. All right, so for those who don't know, Conker has now been conscripted to rob a bank Matrix style, and so now the entire end of the game is an extended parody of the Matrix. Conker takes the role of Neo here, so we're robbing this bank. We need the guards to appear at us, and we want to kill them while we're in bullet time. So you'll notice that my cursor is going into some exact positions because I know where these guys are going to be. And so we need to kill 4 waves of guards. I know, shocking. So I'm waiting for them to because their hitboxes actually aren't active until they walk past the closest layer of pillars. So they actually aren't able to be killed until they're like right there. So we approach all these pillars very specifically. I'm making a diagonal to this one so that I can start it immediately and start shooting this guy because he's gonna be like right there. And then I'm gonna hold to the left to kill this guy. And then I'm gonna wait for this guy to spawn in and kill him. Every guy dies in one hit. But really interesting thing. So when you kill them, they go into like an animation where they're like spinning around in the air. If you keep shooting them during this animation, you actually have a chance to revive them with your bullets. Like, they're already dead when they're spinning and dead, but if you shoot them a couple times, you might accidentally revive them. So we're just gonna let them spin out and not keep shooting them. All right, so for the third hit here, we're gonna do a bit of a wiggle, and that just means that I'm waiting for a second to get onto this thing, but not too long. Call that the wiggle strat. Okay, gotta get this guy here. Oh! Okay, and you can get shot out of the air. That's kind of RNG. That's okay, though. That just means you have to have an extra bullet time, unfortunately. Every extra bullet time is like 10-second time loss. Ideally, we want to get through this in 2 bullet times per enemy wave, but sometimes you just don't, and that's okay. Okay, so the fourth one is really hard here. I'm gonna shoot a guy before he gets in the position, or at least try to. So so this guy. Yes, I want to shoot him so that he stands there. Because if he gets in the position, he will shoot Conker out of the sky. It's almost a guarantee. So we want to make sure that we make him stand in a position that's not his normal position. And the next guys spawn in almost immediately. So we're gonna go ahead and start here. Okay, nice. All right, we're heading into the final boss. So yeah, we're in the bank vault now. First, before we trigger the final boss, we need to go get what we came here for, which was money. And of course, money can't just be money in this game. It has to have eyes and a personality, because that's rareware. So we need to smack
Naturally.
3 money in order to continue. Sometimes you can smack multiple with a pen and then keep hitting them, and other times you definitely don't do that. Okay, and then we just need to hit 1 more here because you need to get this 3 in order to proceed.
Whoa!
And we're skipping a very long cutscene, but basically, the main villain, or the guy set up to be the main protagonist of the game, turns out to have an alien from a xenomorph from Alien living inside his chest, which then bursts out. And so now we're fighting a xenomorph from Alien, and this is the final boss of the game. There's been no reason that this should be the final boss, but he is. And we're gonna Bowser throw him, but
Honestly.
not really. So instead of spinning the stick, we're holding right on the camera and the stick at the same time. Oh, and we just missed the hole. That's really funny. That's okay. That happens sometimes. Okay, smack them. That's good. That's good. So he does one of 2 things. He either spins his tail or he bites you. If he bites you, you guard, and then you can hit him immediately. But if he spins his tail, you're not guaranteed to be able to hit him. And time's going to be coming up after you throw him out of the window. Oh, nice. So this is an optimal hit, too, is that he tries to bite you. So time's going to be coming up when we throw him out of the window here on the 3rd try. So not this one, but the next one. Okay, 1 more. Oops, that's okay. Let's see, is he gonna bite? Nope, he's gonna back up. And he's gonna jump. My man, what are we doing? Oh, I misreacted. Okay, hang on, we're okay. One more time, sir. Oh, he's not supposed to do a second spin there. That's okay, we just need to hit him again. That's okay, we just get to see him one more time. Our good buddy, the Xenomorph. So the first hit, you can almost always just swing at him and it works. The second hit, you need to block a bite, and same for the third hit, you have to block a bite. Okay, so we're on the first again, so... Oh, we hit a wall again. Yeah, you have to like be able to throw him without being able to see where the airlock is. Also, the game starts taunting you if you keep missing throwing him out of the airlock, because they're like this robot voice in the background that's saying warning is like, throw the alien out and shut the bloody door. And they start saying thing like, the door is this large, windy thing that you want to be aiming for. Like, the game starts taunting you for missing a bunch. That's okay. Basically, as soon as the sound of the alien's nails on the concrete stop, you can throw him. Okay, this is hit 2. Come on now. Alright, hit 3.
I believe.
Oh my god, dude, please bite. Please bite. Oh, okay, I was gonna try to... Oh, he bit twice just to taunt me.
He's so mean.
He really is. All right, time's gonna be coming up once we throw him out of the airlock here, so let's hope we get this. Oh, we missed. That's okay, not time yet. Not time yet. One more time. Oh, I keep... That's okay. It's okay. This is it. Come on. Just some misreacts here. This can happen. You don't want to try to anticipate the alien. You have to react to what he's doing. If you try to anticipate, you end up like me. Time, by the way.
GG.
Whew. Nice. GG's. 143 is a fantastic time, given all what we saw here.
Very nice stuff, honestly.
Thank you so much for letting me be on here with Conker today. This is one of my favorite games of all time, and one of my favorite speedrun communities of all time. I have found such amazing friends and companionship because of this game. Arb and Darkness have inspired me to do so much and to take my speedrunning career so far, and I just don't know where I'd be without their encouragement. I really wish I would have shouted them out more, but, you know, it just doesn't happen sometimes. But our Obliterator, Hollow Darkness, 2 amazing people. I want to shout out the wider Conker community. We have Usami, one of our runners from Japan. We have a few runners in Japan, which is awesome, because this game didn't even release in Japan. So the fact that we have some Japanese runners is really cool. We also have Willow and Trouser. And I want to shout out older glitch hunter Fresh Toast. We would not know half the glitches in this game without Fresh Toast. He had put in so much work to find out everything about this game, and also Clar and, you know, Benja. There's a lot of names that I'm blanking on, but I just want to give a wider shout out to the Conker community. It's a small community, but it's a very dedicated community full of gamers who love this game. And this just goes to show that no matter how silly the game is, it's like you always got people in here taking it as seriously as they can. And I'm so proud to have been able to show this game off for the community. This was a great run. We hit so many of the tricks. If you guys want to see more, check out, you know, runs by Arb or Hollow Darkness. They're 2 amazing people. Darkness was running this game pretty consistently for a while, but being a top runner, he goes in and out. I think the practice for this has shown me that I want to take the game further, so I'll probably be playing this in the near future.
And where can people follow you?
People can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Brandino59. I'm also on YouTube at Brandino6030 on YouTube. I upload a lot of stuff to YouTube too. And I just wanted to say that it's amazing how far passion can take you for games. I never thought I'd get to the level I got with this game, but this game showed me how to be good at speedruns and showed me that I could be good at speedruns, and it's meant so much to me to have this game as like a constant in my speedrunning career for so long. So yeah, I think that's awesome. And don't go away, because we have another sick run after this, because there's going to be Tomomodachi and Gymnast doing Wind Waker randomizer. Shout out to Momo. She is the GOAT, I fear. She made me some excellent friendship bracelets at GDQ that I have. Actually, wait, they're right behind me. We can talk about that. Shout out to Momo for the friendship bracelets. We've got this amazing one from SGDQ that says SGDQ with the little gamer guy on it. And this one that says Brandino. It has some gummy bears next to it. They're not real gummy bears. Don't eat them. Yeah, shout outs. This is my runner badge from this year. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here and for watching the silliest game of all time. I'm so glad I could do it. And I'm just yapping so much. I could keep talking forever.
Yeah, shouts out for being here. Shouts to Brandino, the GOAT, for running Conker's Night for y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Stick